Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again, yet with another session on mentoring SMPs. Your institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that was set up an Act of Parliament way back on 1st July 1949 when the most important document to the democracy, the Constitution, was not adopted. You all are well aware that the Constitution to this great country was promulgated on 26 January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India when its own democratic setup was not in place? The answer is very candid. Very forthcoming, very simple. They were looking for a disciplined band of soldiers to steer this country out of confusion. They were looking for disciplined professionals who could take this country to unprecedented heights. And we chartered accountants have stood up to this intention of the government. Let me tell you that even today, there are a lot of problems in the economy. The economy is at doldrums. And we chartered accountants shall only work ahead to work in tandem to bring back the country and the economy into the rails. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have very exciting topics today. But as chartered accountants, I would like to say that we are a class apart. You all know, I will share a very celebrated couplet with you. The couplet says, Tamiz, Tehzeeb, Adab. Tamiz, Tehzeeb, Adab. जीवन में बोलती है, लाख छुपाए इंसान, लेकिन शख्सियत निशान छोड़ती है. What mark you make is very important for you to perform and for the entire profession, because you are the brand ambassador of the profession. We have three very revered speakers today, Mr. Abhijit Sanskri, and the best part is that all three are from Mumbai, Mr. Chetan Thakkar and Madam Sema Grover. So I start my presentation. Before I go on to my keynote address, I would like to introduce the worthy speakers to you. Give me a second so that I'm able to share my screen with you. Hold for a second. Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Abhijit Sanskri. He is a practicing chartered accountant and he is a law graduate with over 30 years post-qualification experience. He has held internal audit, CFO positions in industry. He is a speaker at professional forums since last 20 years and he has contributed to guidance notes and technical materials of ICAI. He is faculty at post-qualification courses of ICAI and he is an author as well. The second speaker of the day is Madam Sema Grover, who is Vice President Group Chief Audit Executive at Dr. Reddy's Laboratory. She is a highly effective leader with 20 years of expertise in corporate finance, business finance, internal audit and compliances, mergers and acquisitions, transformation initiatives, planning and analytics, and digital business process excellence. She has experience of working with various business units. She is recognized for excellence in functional as well as business domains and is an inspirational and authentic leader who overcame heavy odds and personal challenges to lead by example and create a legacy of excellence and outstanding achievement. She is a chartered accountant from ICAI. She is MSc Mathematics from Osmania University and has received 4 gold medals with a score of 97.13%. She has done New Horizon Leadership Program with McKinsey and she has various compliance-related certifications with GDPR, SOX and AI for everyone. The third speaker of the day is Mr. Chetan Thakkar, who is General Manager, Group Audit and Risk Management for Cement, Energy and Mining Verticals at JSW Steel Limited. He is a fellow chartered accountant. He is an information system auditor also from ICAI. He is a certified internal auditor, certified in financial markets from NSE, certified in risk management from ICAI, certified fraud examiner CFE from ACFE USA, EMBA from Harvard Management Mentor and Strategic Leader Program from IIM Ahmedabad. He has a career spanning over 24 years and he has worked in various organizations, including Prism Cement Limited as head management assurance and with Ambuja Cement Limited as a corporate audit head. He has sound understanding and developed expertise in subjects like internal audits, internal control over financial reporting, IFCR, and ICFR, and operational audits, system audits, process improvement studies, fraud investigations, financial due diligence, risk management, statutory compliances, and ERP implementations. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, I start my keynote address on today's webinar, which is on mentoring SMPs, the role of internal auditor. First important thing which I would like to discuss with you is on measuring and improving internal audit efficiency. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing we need to always understand, that working in tandem, give me a second, see if my PPT has gone out of place. Give me a second. I was on measuring and improving internal audit efficiency. Now, when can an internal audit function be considered as effective? Internal audit essentially is a management function. And the most important thing which you need to understand is that when an internal audit function is effective, now you have two viewpoints. If you take the viewpoint of audit committee, if you are able to identify new critical risk areas and timely report it, yes. If the internal audit complies with applicable standards, it is effective. If timely and accurately and completely reporting, which meets stakeholders' expectations, it is effective. The performance of internal audit in terms of agreed goals and objectives, very, very important. It is effective when you attend all audit committee meetings and report. My screen, just a second. I'll do that. Is it fine now?
You should do a slideshow, sir. Oh, yeah.
Now it is fine?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. So now we could. I was speaking on effectiveness of audit committee, or effectiveness of from the viewpoint of audit committee. So if you attend all audit committee meetings, if you report on prior unidentified risks, it shows that the audit is effective. You need to understand that efficiency is doing things right and effectiveness is doing the right things. Very, very important. Going ahead, from viewpoint of internal audit process, earlier we spoke about the audit committee, now we speak of the internal audit process. First thing is difference in actual expenses and budget. That synchronization is very important, understanding where estimations were not correct. You need to update the audit universe. You need to have everything under your control. You need to have trained staff. And more importantly, you need to plan audit coverage versus actual audit coverage. So planned and actual, difference in actual and budget. So these things are very important when you ultimately understand the degree of liability which you can be rendering to yourself, which you can be attributing to yourself. Quality assurance is yet another viewpoint. Now, from the viewpoint of the auditee, internal audit is effective when follow-up is done on recommendations. Very, very important. When benefits over costs are identified and ultimately synchronized. When communication with external auditors is made, and let me tell you, when the new code of ethics which came into effect from 1st July 2020, ICAI has very clearly specified that in case you want any communication from external or even outgoing auditors, the entire document has to compulsory be given to the incoming auditor. Timely reporting is very, very important. The second topic of the day is risk-based audits during COVID time, which Madam would take. There are certain critical issues to ponder over amidst this severe global socio-economic disruptions impacting internal audit. So this session will dwell on ongoing 1920 coronavirus pandemic and its disruptive and devastating effect, particularly on internal audit of the organization. What you need to understand? You need to understand the impact of pandemic on the internal audit plan and procedures, what needs to be changed, what needs to be tickled, and more importantly, brought so that everything is effectively covered. The second is to identify new risks in current context and promoting risk mitigation. Yes, the new normal need to be identified and incorporated in your audit. Business continuity consideration and measures. Yes, business continuity is a crucial area. Improved structure reflections on the and adding value and mobilizing in the new challenges. And yes, nahi aa raha. Hold for
Yeah.
It's coming now.
There seems to be a technical glitch. Let me again start it. Is it fine now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is the silver lining to this cloud? Number one, the internal audit can enormously helping to provide a trusted risk perspective during this time of volatility and changing business dynamics. You can call it hand-holding of the promoters, the stakeholders, the management, the government, or regulators. Second, at some point, a new business environment will emerge, which will require continually resetting priorities and crisis responses because things have changed. So you need to, first of all, put in perspective whatever is required. And how we can do this? You can do this by providing critical guidance to the varied stakeholders. Internal audit, while preparing for the future, will also emerge stronger, providing even great value to the organization. This is very, very important. We need to bring and synchronize our thought process and join them with the management so that the desired objective of the management is met. Now, what's an internal auditor do? He shall and value and mobilize accordingly. He needs to proactively communicate with both management and audit committee stakeholders so that communication will ultimately lead to receive whatever benefits which were intended to derive from the internal audit function. Provide leadership and support for compliance frameworks, processes, and control activities. Now I come on to the third topic of the day, changing role of internal audit and stakeholders' expectation. Now, why is the role of internal audit changing? Because there's a lot of innovation, automation, and globalization going on. There are new business models. There are highly automated, interconnected business processes. There are increasing regulatory pressures and new risks which have come in, and therefore the entire gamut of internal audit services is tending on an, you can say, very short span of time. What is the changing role of internal audit? You have to shift from policing to partnership. Yes, now it is a constant endeavor to ensure that you become a stakeholder with the management to derive and produce best of the results. You need to align to stakeholders' needs, which are very important. You need to collaborate and ensure that whatever is reported is directly beneficial to the entire board and audit committee. And you need to expand the horizon and put at a perspective where things are at a better not, and they are able to serve the management and they are able to help them handhold and understand what needs to be put into account. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was my brief. Keynote address. So now I request Mr. Abhijit Sanskri to start his presentation. Over to Mr. Sanskri. The dais is all yours now, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman ISB and ISB for giving me an opportunity to address the Chartered Accountants on the topic of audit efficiency. Let me start my presentation right away. When we talk of efficiency, what exactly is efficiency? What exactly does efficiency mean to us? So efficiency would have different connotations for different people. So what exactly would that mean is what we need to see. Now, I'll just start my screen share. Not able to get my screen share, just let me go. Yeah. So what exactly is efficiency? What does efficiency mean to us? Because efficiency can mean differently to different people. So it's subjective, it's contextual. And then when we are talking of efficiency in relation to internal audit, then very specifically, what does efficiency mean in context of internal audit? And when we talk of internal audit, we talk of two broad things. One is assurance and one is consulting. So what exactly we mean by efficiency when it's as regards giving assurance is concerned, and what is efficiency as regards consulting is concerned. So there could be equations of good, better, best. So are we better than what we were earlier? Again, that would mean that we are efficient. But is that efficiency metrics of measurement good enough, or are we the best? Can we even be better at what we are doing? So again, it's contextual. So we need to be very clear. So clarity, what's the purpose and what's the scope? And finally, who are the stakeholders? What are the goals we are achieving? What are the results? What are the impact we are creating? And what are the means we are adopting to reach those goals or results? So again, you can use different terms to define efficiency. One is to be effective. So it's doing the things right versus doing the right things, doing them optimally. It could mean productivity. It could mean mastery. It could mean perfection. It could mean excellence. It could mean a lot of things. I look at efficiency by just three acronyms, and those three acronyms, the first acronym I would use is HURT MAD. When I say HURT, it means being helpful, useful and relevant with trust. And I believe in all factors of efficiency, trust is the main thing which is there, because if you are trusted, then people will come to you with their problems. They will the promoters, the stakeholders, the auditees, all of them will be open. They will not hide things. They will give you the data on time. So for timely completion of audit, one of the biggest challenges is to get the right data, get the right responses, not search around or hunt around for issues, because that consumes time which can be productively, efficiently, effectively used elsewhere. So trust is the key. So HURT, when I mean by HURT, is being helpful, useful and relevant with trust. And I use another acronym, you HURT MAD, is finally MAD means make a difference. So the first acronym is HURT MAD, is being helpful, useful, relevant with trust to make a difference. The second acronym I use when I talk of efficiency is CCTV. So is your CCTV on full time, 24/7 or 25/8 surveillance? I would say proactive, continuous control monitoring. And when I mean by CCTV, I mean my credibility, my competency, my trust which I again bring on the table, the talent which I have. V stands for my value and values. So the value I add, the values I get to the values of integrity, objectivity, independence. And the last I would say is the acronym of PUC. And by PUC, I mean passion, I mean the uniqueness, and I mean consistency. So am I consistent am I unique in what I'm doing, the ways I'm thinking out of the box? So here again, you will have all the 4 C's. Am I communicating properly? Am I thinking critically? Am I being creative? And am I collaborating well? So here it's I can't be a master of all trades. It's all be a jack of all, master of none. I think it's you've got to be a jack of some, a king of few, and an emperor of just 1 or 2. That's the niche which you get the niche expertise. So you have horses for courses. You have a diversified team. You have experts. You have experienced people for each specialized area. So that's what is the uniqueness you bring on the table. So efficiency means a lot of things. Where you are, where you want to go. It's just like when you're talking of these are your risks, these are the controls or the mitigants you have so that you reduce your threats, gaps or vulnerabilities. So you know where you are, you know where you want to go, and how would you want to go, where you are up the efficiency curve either. So it'll mean one, the efficiency curve for the auditor and the efficiency curve for the auditee, both. And it's ideally when you're talking, it's a risk-based process audit. It's basically answering the 5 W's and 1 H. So why is a very critical factor which is to be addressed here in efficiency. So either I mean doing the things optimally or doing the right things. It's the process versus the impact. The process to be followed at all times. There has to be a system, there has to be a structure, there has to be a formal methodology which I adopt systematically, consistently. The means which I adopt should justify the end. And finally, what I do when I'm being efficient, I do more with less or with same, or I do the same or more with less. So either way, the input-output ratio, when I look at it, it's more of an output for a reduced input when I'm measuring it in terms of maybe the man hours, measuring it in terms of the cost which I've spent on conducting the audit, vis-a-vis the results which I've acquired. And results could mean different things for different people. So I need to have a clear-cut metric for measurement, monitoring, review, and course correction. So metrics for measurement is something which is very, very critical and very, 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 very essential here. So that's something which I need to be very clear-cut. Otherwise, how would I know what is efficient? I may be efficient, but is the stakeholder perceiving that? Because perception at times trumps reality. So perception in an audit is very important. So I need to be very clear on how I measure what efficiency is, and I may have various goals for efficiency. So we'll discuss this as we go ahead. So it's starting as early as possible. A thing well begun is half done. Planning it right is the key, but maybe in the current pandemic or the COVID times or the VUCA world, whatever you call it, I think plans will just go for a toss. So you need to have flexible, risk-based, agile, adaptable, whatever you put it, plans which would really be focused, which would really strike the real issue on hand. So you need to attack straight the pain point. What is the problem? What is the thing which is troubling the organization the most? You need painkillers. You don't need multivitamins here. So the audit should focus on the issue which is most pressing. Maybe the low-hanging fruits could be tackled first, and you move ahead. So nothing is perfect or imperfect. There can't be an absolute foolproof plan. You've got to amend it as and when you come across things on the way. So that's the flexibility, agility, the nimbleness, the fleet-footedness which is required currently. You'll have to learn on the way. There would be reviews, course corrections needed at various points of time. So it's not that you just go at the start and have a plan which could be the same throughout. I think that would need constant corrections. And practice and repetition is the mother of all skills. I think nothing comes with practice. It's always said that to be an expert in a subject, you need to put 10,000 hours in that subject. So one can be efficient, one can be effective if one does this over and over again. So it's something when you are, that's where the niche area, that's where the mastery, that's where the expertise comes in play. It's need to be patient, need to have various qualities, need to have a very firm resolve, grit, the hard work, the focus, the determination, the dedication, and this should be consistent at all times. You need to be sustainable. It can't be that the focus has to be at one critical area. It got to be throughout the course of audit. So it's where the engagement comes in. It's where the training comes in. It's where the motivation, inspiration factors come in. You might be motivated, but whether your team is motivated, whether the entire people who are involved are working as a unit where the sum of 1 + 1 is more than 2, so all the parts together add up to more than just the numerical total. So that's where you will have to put together things. It's basically you need to. It's a world where we are living in, a collaborative world where we collaborate and connect to co-create. So there got to be diversity in teams. There got to be different strengths in team. A SWOT analysis is what is a deep rooted subject. It's not just your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. It's playing to your strengths. What exactly are your strengths? There are various tests which can find out what your strengths are. So you play to your strengths. You don't let your weaknesses come in the way of your threats. So if there are perceptible weaknesses in certain areas, then obviously either you need not do those areas and get some other people who are strong in those areas to get that done, or you work on it by constantly upgrading, by learning, relearning, unlearning a lot of skills. And that's how you keep on getting better and better. Even in small incremental changes, every day will have a huge compounding effect over time, which will add to the efficiency. So fundamentals don't change. It's the basics don't change. Your capability, your talent, your skill mastery has to be continuously upgraded by constant learning. That's where the institute has seminars like this, where you come across diverse viewpoints. There could be a lot of brainstorming. I think your mind is basically channelized to think more deeper, to basically think out of the box, or to think as if there is no box. So it's a continuous curiosity, continuous learning. In some cases, as senior professionals, there could also be reverse mentoring, and it's all about what are the risks, what are the controls, what are the threats, gaps, vulnerabilities. So it's a complete risk-based process audit. It's why a particular thing happened. It's going into the root cause, finding out why it happened, and ensuring that this doesn't happen again. So there's this classic internal audit, old-time theory, the cow fell in the ditch theory. If a cow falls in the ditch, why did the cow fall in the ditch? It's not restricted just to getting the cow out of the ditch. It's just not correcting the transactional error. It's finding why she fell in the ditch and do all things to ensure that the cow does not fall in the ditch again. So when you find an issue, it's the underlying cause of the issue is much deeper. So there it could be a training issue, it could be an awareness issue, it could be a sensitization issue, it could be a disciplinary issue. So there you might look at it as an operational risk, but it might turn out to be an HR risk. So there could be various factors involved. One needs to really look into the real root cause, why a particular thing happened, and what can be done to ensure that this doesn't recur again. So a reduction in audit issues over time is also efficiency. So when I used to head an audit in an audit committee, there were absolutely a clean internal audit report which was given. So one of the audit committee members just asked me is, the report is very clean. So is it an issue where the auditors have not been able to find out any issues? So is there a fact that he was trying to bring out whether the auditors are not good enough to find mistakes? So the first revert from my side, the immediate revert was, why do you assume that people will commit mistakes? Can't people be right the first time? Because that's what, as an organization, the duty of the internal auditor will also be over time. If he corrects the root cause, then the errors will not happen again. So audit, the best ideal for an audit will be, he'll just be a validator that things are all happening right. I think at a lot of organizations, people are paid good enough. People have spent a lot of time on the job. They know what is to be done. They know what's expected of them. So why will they commit mistakes? If things are automated, if there are checks and balances in place, there are n number of controls in place. So why should a thing fail? I think the thing has to be stopped from going wrong right at the start. So if you have proactive, preventive controls, there's no way something can go wrong. So you've got to work at a situation where you really don't find errors, you don't find issues, you don't find gaps. So how would you move to a sigma situation in an audit where the auditee doesn't commit errors? It's not the auditor's job to find errors. Yes, if there are errors, the auditor's job is obviously to find errors, but ideally the auditor's job is to create a situation, the job is to create a scenario where errors will just not happen. It's either way. He's basically in his role as a consultant. What internal audit is also a consulting activity. He will basically have to benchmark it to best practices. He will have to give the necessary expertise, the training, the sensitization to ensure that these errors are not happening. So finally, when you look at the metrics for measurement, it's the impact you create. And what's the impact? So there could be savings of cost, there could be savings of time, there could be savings of energy, there could be savings in terms of efforts put, in terms of money, in terms of resources spent. This could be both for the auditor as well the auditee. There could be standardization, there could be precision, there could be accuracy. It all has to be sustainable. There is also deadlines which have to be met, so there are no deviations from the deadlines. You have to manage all the stakeholder expectations, and there will be various stakeholders. It just can't be the management. There could be directors, there could be shareholders. So the reports would be useful to all, and the changes and the improvements which you bring would be long-lasting and sustainable. So it's I would say a simple thing, going the extra mile. Are you exceeding expectations? So it's something like when you talk in marketing, it's customer delight. So you can also extend it. Is the stakeholder delight being made by internal audit? So what exactly are the expectations from him? Is there a free and frank talk at the start with all stakeholders before the audit plan itself is made up, or before the audit is commenced? Is what exactly would be the expectations from audit, or what exactly would the rules be, or what exactly would the efficiency targets be made? So when you are talking of sales, it's a very clear cut that if you achieve a particular number, then basically you are efficient. So it could, when I mean subjective, is it that if the auditor finds out 10 queries, he's more efficient? If the auditor does not find out any query, he's efficient. Obviously, in a lot of small organizations, if not a single query is found out, the auditor would really be happy. But if issues are being found, then yes, maybe the auditor is successful in finding out errors if there are there. But if there are 20 errors and only 10 have been detected, then is it still that it is being effective or efficient, as the case may be? And if errors are being found out, then obviously there are lots of gaps and vulnerabilities in the system. And why are they existing? And what is being done to set that right? So it's all about the ability to do things successfully. Success again has different connotations for different people. It's contextual. So set the context right. Be very clear. I think clarity, focus, proper planning is what is needed when you talk of the term efficiency. There is need a lot of training. the deficiency assessment, the gap assessment, what I talk about has to be there. And obviously if an issue is raised, it has to be closed. You can't leave the issue open-ended. Now, what are the deadlines for closing the issues? Who are the risk owners who are involved in closing the issues? And once the issue is closed, what is being done to ensure that the same transactional error, if it's there, doesn't happen again? So it's all in process improvement. It's a risk-based process audit where you prioritize because you have constraints of resources, you have constraints of cost, time, energy, your money which you can put. So how exactly you optimize or balance your resources and spend it on ensuring that you are optimally balancing and managing all the risk. So it's when I say the 5 W's and 1 H, what should I audit? Why should I audit? How should I audit? The process, the methodologies to be followed. Where should I audit? Whether it should be online, offline, whether a balance of physical visits, whether in work from home culture as it's now. When should I audit? What should be the timing? It should be surprise. It should be before. It should be after. It should be midway. Whatever. And for whom am I doing it? So who's my ultimate stakeholder to whom I am reporting? So the auditor has to consider all these scenarios when he actually goes ahead. And how does he do it? So one is he can't do it himself, so he'll have to delegate. There obviously has to be a diversity between teams. So diversity would be as regards the gender, the diversity could be as regards the religion, the diversity could be as regards the subject matter expertise, the diversity could be as regards the age. There could be various other factors, but it has to be all inclusive, so it gives a very balanced approach to the team, and you can work on the combined strengths and the combined weaknesses of any member could be supplemented by the strengths of some others. So you have everybody working on his strengths. Planning, prioritization obviously is key. The responsibility, the accountability is also there as a very critical factor, because if you are delegating, you are not delegating your responsibility for that, you still remain responsible. And the ultimate is the communication and the language. The communication, the way you communicate, you got to be an auditor, has to be a very great listener. I think he has to keep his eyes, ears open at all times. He has to be curious. He has to be skeptical, the right balance of skeptical, the right balance of going in deep in some issues, seeing the macro picture as well as ensuring that the micros are not forgotten. And finally, it's all about presentation. So you may have found various issues, but if you can't communicate them properly, you can't communicate them on time, you can't get them addressed on time, you can't get them addressed effectively at an optimal cost, I think all the good work will come to naught. So communication is the key. You got to ensure that the respect, the recognition, the self-esteem, the efforts of what all you have put are respected, and they are properly addressed by the organization. And it's the language you use, how you actually speak, the tonality, the gestures also at points of time you use. So when you coming just simply to a speaker, the speaker, it's not all about content. It's all about the tonality of your voice, it's the voice modulation, it's the pitch, it's the gestures, it's how you at times, it's all about how you tell the story, it's storytelling, it's story showing, it's story shaping, it's story modeling, it's story curating, it's how you create that picture and how you actually impress. It's all about inspiring, it's all about motivating, and if you go beyond that, it's not just inspiration and motivation, it also boils down to your transformation. And if I go a step beyond transformation, it will be transcendence. So how do you actually go and convert it at each way? So basically we're dealing with a lot of data. So from data, how do you move to information? From information, data and information is what we'll get, but from data and information, what is the knowledge you're getting on the table, and what is the wisdom finally you're bringing and ensuring that the organization gets the benefit of your wisdom. So it's all moving from hindsight to insights to foresight. So am I proactively planning, and have I in place my contingency factors or what could come up properly measured, lined up. So when something happens, I don't react by gut or intuition, but I react with full information, and my decision making is with full awareness. So decision making and awareness are another two key factors which would be critical for determining efficiency. And finally, you need to sizzle. You need to have your reputation. You need to have your respect. You need to have your recognition. You need to have your self-esteem, the perception you create. And it's all about using your innovation. It's all about using your creativity. It's all about use of technology. I think a lot of mundane tasks can be cut down through effective and efficient usage of technology, so you can actually balance your time on more critical areas. As the risk-based internal audit, which Sema would cover later on, is focus. It's the optimal allocation of scarce resources. How do you do that? Critical thinking, again, a very key factor. Collaboration, again, a key skill, and either an out of the box or a no box thinking. I think this would be a lot of issues which an auditor will need to consider. Now the new age is, do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach? Do you have a facilitator? Are you being reverse mentored? So technically, a lot of learning sessions, because the information is getting redundant so fast, you have actually an information overload. You're living in an era where there is a surplus of information, but maybe there is a scarcity of knowledge or a deficit of wisdom, as I would put it. So are you being mentored even at various stages by the right mentors, by the right coaches, by the right facilitators? And I always firmly believe, and I've been strongly following this for the last 5 years, that to be a successful professional, you need to have these three persons completely in your life. One is a mentor or a coach. Maybe you could have more than one mentor on various subjects. You need to have a mastermind of professionals, a mastermind of like-minded people, a mastermind of quality feedback which you will receive, because feedback is the breakfast of champions. Feedback is something which will give you an introspection, give you something to reflect, give you something where you can improve. So you will need that. It could be a mentoring, it could be a reverse mentoring, and then you would need an accountability partner who would ensure that you are pushed at all points of time to go to your goal. So it's all following very disciplined rituals in your personal life also. So it's your personal life also plays a huge part on your professional life. Though you don't mix and keep a healthy work-life balance, I think it's your personal values which you bring and your professional skills which you bring. It's a combination of that which will be efficiency, and that's where we'll move from your data, information, knowledge to wisdom, from hindsight to insights to foresights. And it always has to be what is in it for them. It's not what is in it for me. It's not I'm doing it for myself. Obviously, yes, there are monetary considerations and money plays a very big part, but it's in the professional. It's for the professional pride. It's for the professional respect. It's for the professional value and the values which you bring on the table. And as I firmly believe that whatever is rightfully due will always come to you with due respect to your talents and skills. So again, some professional aspects of empathy and an attitude of gratitude for whatever you have and whatever you could do or whatever you can do makes a lot of difference. Like it could be a huge factor if these factors come on the play, because wherever these is practiced, maybe at a couple of times on a different day I've spoken on a subject called spiritual audit. So the concepts of empathy and the concepts of gratitude play a lot more part. If you are internally happy, if you are internally calm, if you are internally relaxed, I think the mind thinks much better. The mind will be able to think more creatively. The mind will be able to think with creativity, and you really, when you are finding out of the box solutions and when you're finding best practices, or giving new solutions. I think that's where the relaxed mind comes in play. Going the extra mile, having a pleasing personality, your executive presence, your persona, your image management also, your personal branding, which is there, the key subjects which are there, which the new age subjects as okay, how you manage the social media, how you remain professionally ethical and with integrity at all times, walking the talk, setting the right tone at the top or maybe wherever levels what you are. And finally, it's what I say, it's de-risking all risks. So every risk can be de-risked. The problem with a lot of people is that they know what risks are, they know what can go wrong, they know it's a function of probability and impact, but they really don't have a structured way of first is identifying risks. So when I look at a lot of MSMEs, unless they are mandated and they have those ISOs in place, very few organizations will have a risk register or a risk universe or a risk library, whatever you call it. So that's something missing, and that's where as SMPs we can play a huge part in having a risk register put in place, identifying the risks, mapping the controls to the risk, finding out what the gaps, threats, vulnerabilities are, and maybe some risk like the reputational risk, the regulatory risk, obviously the compliance risk, the financial risk is what we easily take care of, but the cyber risks, the social media risks, the technology risk, the absence of technology or the absence of a sound marketing, because these you may have a very strong product, but if you have not marketed yourself as an organization, well, you lag behind. So are we doing an audit of marketing? Are we doing an audit of organizational culture? Are we doing an audit of employee engagement? So these would be certain areas where we could play a huge part, and that could make a lot of difference in making the organizations more efficient. So finally, what is success? Finally boils down to, when you are saying being efficient, is whether finally you are successful. And again, as I recap, is success is something which means different things to different people. You can be an expert authority on any subject. What I say, you could be a thought leader. Again, you need not be just a transformational thought leader. You could be a transcendental thought leader. And it's something like when commonly is when you are asked to speak at public forums, whether you get a repeat invite or not. I think that's a huge introspection to be done with where you good enough. So maybe whenever you do an assignment also, if you've done an assignment and the people have not found you good enough to do a repeat assignment, I think that's somewhere down the line you need to see whether you are really efficient, or maybe you may be efficient. The perception of efficiency which you have put is whether that's being met or not. So that's again one thing. The negotiation and persuasion skills play a huge part. I think these are the softer aspects. It's not just the intelligence quotient which plays a part. It's all your emotional quotients. It's all your adversity quotients. It's all your social quotients which play a huge part. So negotiation, the persuasion part, the ability to convince the management that this is what they should do. Because a lot of times the management, when it comes to spending cost, the priorities of cost would not be on compliance. They may not be on certain areas which are pressing. Instead, there could be a lot of cost which could be on short-term issues like maybe pushing up sales or marketing. So that's where your stature to convince, to persuade, and being able to negotiate to close issues or to address issues at the right time or prioritize allocation of resources for the right events which are there. I think those skills which will be needed. And then where are you up the maturity curve? So do you have an efficiency maturity curve, or you have a risk maturity curve? And where you are at levels maybe 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, there are always a lot of marking which can be done, and you could know what you are, where you are, and where you want to go, and how fast you want to go, and how would you go there. So did I leave the organization in a much better shape than I did before I was there. I think that would be one way in which I could measure whether I'm being efficient and whether internally I really felt I did a good job. So whether you really internally felt happy about it, and did I really care? So when I did I really care that I want to really do something good for the organization? So it's something being very passionate about what you are doing. It's a passion to make a difference, as I said. So when I started first is the HURT-MAD acronym, the PUC acronym, and the CCTV acronym. I think that in short sums up what internal audit efficiency is all about. So always be a giver. I said, what gives comes back. So if you've given your best, I think with a clean heart, with a clean conscience, I think the efficiency, the effectiveness, it's all there. And it's what I say, don't leave things so that they become urgent. Tackle the important and the urgent things first, so that there's nothing which just comes and you got to end up doing a firefighting or a last minute troubleshooting. So be a giver, enjoy the process. Everything needs time, everything needs effort. Rome was not built in a day. In Rome, we need to do as the Romans do, need to respect the organization culture, need to be consistent, keep it as simple and straight as possible, and relationships do matter. I think a lot of times, a lot of things have been done faster because of the relationships. At the same time, the relationship, it need not be seen that the relationships really go into a conflict of interest. But yes, you need to balance your relationships, that you get your work in time, you get the data in time, you get the information in time. It's at times the Chinese bamboo tree growth where you have put in a lot of efforts for a lot of years, and then at a point of time the growth will be exponential. Experiment, have a trial and error internally, have, as I said, the 6 thinking hats internally, do all kinds of R&D internally, and just enjoy the process. So all of us can make a difference. Serve, inspire, influence, motivate, transform, and as I say, transcend. So that's it for me. Thank you. I'm bang exactly at 6 where I was told to conclude this. So I'll just sum it up on the 3 things. So I'll just sum it up on the 3 things. The CCTV, the competency, credibility, trust, and values you bring on the table. HURT-MAD being useful with trust, and PUC, which I mean by your passion, the perception, the uniqueness, and the consistency. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abhijit, for a very scintillating and mind-boggling presentation. Really,
Thank you.
my one and all. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I request Madam Sema Grover. We'll have a question answer session at around 7:30. So now I'll get Madam Sema Grover to come and make the presentation. Madam, the dice is all yours.
Thank you. I think there is a resound. I would request everyone else to please put on mute. Yeah, thank you. Is it resounding? Okay. So before I start, I would take the opportunity to thank Abhijit. Abhijit, your session was amazing. I have written down 2 pages what you actually evaluated, and then I summarized in my mind. I summarized With so much you spoke on agility, flexibility, understanding, so much you spoke about the right balance where while you are looking at risks and controls, collaboration to connect. I think some of these are so relevant, Abhijit. Special thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
In 1 hour and very good insights. For today's session, good evening everyone once again. I will be taking you all through the risk-based audit plan. Let me try to share my screen. Yeah. Are you able to see? Can someone say able to see?
No, madam, I'm not able to see. Yes, now it has started.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I would take today is how do you build a risk-based audit plan? So in today's current scenario, as already Abhijit articulated, flexibility and agility is very important. And am I looking at those controls and relevant risks that are there in the system? So as I take through my slides, first I will speak more on risk-based audit plans, and then I'll come to a story how I faced during COVID times, how did we adjust and adapt ourselves in the current scenario. So the way we work in our organization and many companies do this is, everyone, what I would request is please for the organization that you are auditing for, you should have a risk-based register. What are the top risks that the industry is undergoing and what are the top risks this organization is undergoing? With the risk register, map all your audits, the audits across the universe. Is it across markets? Is it across plants? Is it across research and development or support functions like finance, IT, human resource, etc.? Map these. The second thing, while you map this risk with the audit universe, you also need to map your understanding of the audit that you have done for these businesses and your understanding how is this business going to do about. Even evaluate while you're looking at these risks, evaluate if there is any change that has happened in the business model, if there is any change that has happened in the business process, any change in the technology that has taken over which has impacted the model and the business, or any top management change or a senior change and why is that happened. Definitely your audit rating of previous years, all of this, once you club along with the audits, you get you can perceive a sensitivity of what I need to do in each audit. This is one way of complete mapping the audit universe along with risk. So a risk-based audit mapping. The second approach to do, so this is broadly something like an inside out. The second approach, what you do is you go outside in mapping. You understand from the industry. You please speak to people from the who are experts in that industry or go through the research reports of Big Fours or some good research companies like Gartner's and others, McKinsey, BSG, to understand what are emerging risks for this kind of business and am I looking at those risks. Once you have this complete mapping and understanding, you please go and take from the organization that you're auditing for, ask them what are their organization goals for this year, what is their strategy, annual objectives for this year, and what is their strategy for around 3 to 4 years, to give you a comprehensive picture, a big picture what this organization is going to focus on, which markets are they going to target, what are their next moves, what are their next strategies that will play. Once you have this, you can speak to few stakeholders, key stakeholders in the organization. Maybe your plant head, maybe your marketing head, maybe your some of the CXOs, So once you have this completely in play, you will be able to make a risk-based audit plan, which you can go and present to the senior management saying these are the risks I understood from an external perspective, or marrying an inside out perspective or an outside in perspective, understanding from stakeholders, and you can prepare an audit plan. So this kind of risk-based audit plan is usually based on enterprise risk-based audit plan. But I want to just disclaim one point here. Today's scenario is little bit more, I would say, agile. The reason is today you need to also look at continuous audit plan or a continuous risk-based audit plan. And how will you do that? That you can do if you are supported by technology of analytics, your machine language, your algorithms. If you have that kind of leverage, then you can do those things also. Just, I just put this slide. This is a Gartner slide, and I will not take through the complete slide. I would only want to highlight 2 points. How things change when this pandemic hit, and during these unprecedented times, you see the lines that have changed before COVID and after COVID. Assessing impact of the business was the priority. Executing the audit plan, flexible audit plan, and changing and doing that became a priority. Updating risk assessment, that is a priority. Assessing control adequacy is a priority. So in current COVID, this is the way things changed. People did not went to understand what is actually the whole requirement here was to understand the business support, and do I make myself flexible enough. So the very important point I would want to take from Abhijit's point, the word is heard. Was I helpful? Was I useful? Am I relevant in this time? And am I trustworthy to help the business while they were working on this business continuity plans? How was I supporting them to do these normal daily transactions? So more from a perspective on my next slide here is in today's scenario, this is a Gartner slide. I picked it up, and it is an assurance slide. It says, what are the areas of assurance as all of us as auditors today in the current compliance, in the current regulatory framework, what is that I need to look into? And definitely, because you're automating a lot of things across each and every organization, data is very important. Data governance, third parties, data governance take the top priority. Compliance, all of us are aware of. Enterprise risk awareness is such an important thing for an auditor to know how to proceed about. Again, Abhijit touched this point of culture. Are we going and understanding what is the culture of organization, and are we going to provide assurance on this? Cyber is one space. Data privacy is another area. This is a top area that actually wherever companies are in Europe or using the client data of European Union, are we complying with data privacy? Nowadays, lot of our data gets stored on cloud. Are we understanding what are the access controls? What are the data privacy controls? What are the licensing controls? What are the SOPs that I have to look during cloud computing? So these are some of the risks that Gartner actually pointed out, and these are what we need to be aware, understand what are these new risks, how do I map in my audit, and how do I value add to the team that I am auditing for. So the questions that Abhijit raised on 5 W's and how. Why should I audit? Why? This is important because this is so relevant today. We have changed our business models. Everything is on automated, or everything is on cloud. There is data, a lot of data data is new oil that is getting generated. So how do I understand this whole piece, and what is the caliber that I require? Do my team have the skill set to audit, or do I have to collaborate with the auditors or with the business people to understand, or with my information security team, or with my data scientists that are there in the organization, or with people externally? There is a philosophy that has come nowadays of gig workers and freelancers. Do I get with them, collaborate with them, and do this whole piece? So this is a different way of approaching how do I look at a risk-based audit. So I covered this slide previously, the enterprise. So this is the enterprise risk-based auditing is what I covered. But actually in today's world, it is more about real-time assurance. In organizations where the digitization has taken on or where things are getting automated, you can make so many dashboards that can provide you exceptions. And tomorrow's world is of real-time assurance. Today, it is definitely an risk-based and an enterprise risk-based auditing. But tomorrow world is when we are moving towards digitization, it is all about real-time assurance. I just, so broadly what I covered was the thought process while you look at risk-based auditing. But importantly, this is a very recent change. Many of you may be aware, and for the ones who are not aware, the 3 lines defense has got changed into 3 lines model. And this 3 lines model clearly defines what is the first line, what is the second line roles, and all internal auditors, which is in providing independent and objective assurance and advice with regard to objectives. This falls in the 3rd line. But an important element in this, if you look at corner, alignment, communication, coordination, and collaboration. So today's role has definitely moved on to business partnery kind of role. Am I coordinating very well? Am I collaborating and getting to do my role? So even while you do the risk-based audit plan, this is the thought process that one has to go with. Am I aligning and understanding how my second line role people are playing the role? So my second line role people in any organization are people from risk management or compliance team or finance controllers or quality assurance folks or regulatory folks. They fall. All my executive management and line management people fall in first line. So this piece of this arrow that has been put 2 sides is so important, big change in 3 lines model that we have to keep in today's world while we are looking at risk-based audit plans. So this is just I thought of sharing a perspective. What we can also do is sometimes, and this was a question that I also got asked by the audit committee when I joined as an internal audit role, when I joined as internal audit head. And one of the questions, after 6 months, the audit committee, the chairman of the audit committee has requested and asked me, if something happens in some other part of the organization which you have not audited, Sema, how will you know what has gone wrong there? How will you ensure what is going wrong across the organization? So what we have done, and this may be a good way of doing a risk-based audits. So what we have done, we co-created. We said, let us co-create a function called as integrated assurance function. So here we invited all the heads of every assurance. Let it be safe. She stands for safety, health, environment. Let it be quality. Let it be legal head, compliance head, information security head. Your because I come from pharma, it is pharmacovigilance head, risk management head. Everyone comes on one table, and this is chaired by our CXO's chairman and our co-chairman and managing director, and we discuss all the important high observations and risks and controls in this forum. So this is one table for every one of us to get on one table and discuss, and this has been driven by by internal audit team. So it provides a complete governance of understanding. So it's a guidance. It is a I'll say a light that you're getting. There is some risk in organization which I am also understanding, yes, that risk is there and someone else is working on it. Or am I required to proactively change my audit plan? Am I required to be vigilant and think about how flexible and agile I need to make changes to the audit plan if I see something is going wrong? This is one way that we have done. That's the perspective I wanted to share. Now, just before getting more into what happened in COVID times, so I just want to articulate here 2-3 things. One, as we were closing our audit when the corona started, we literally, for us, the whole audit in our organization is we travel to the locations and do physical audits. This was the model that we followed. And with corona, where travel initially stopped and we couldn't travel, we immediately thought about ways of working. It was so adaptable. I could see my team members coming and discussing the approach, how they would do things differently. So the way they picked it up is they picked up doing things, everything on online, taking data online, doing meetings online, using tools online to do data analytics, using continuous auditing tools, using Power BI. So different approaches the team came out and started working and delivering on the audit plan. Something very differently, and I'm happy to share what our team has done. As we saw, the business continuity was very important for the organization. The team, as a team, speaking with risk team and also speaking and understanding what is happening in the industry, we went and prepared controls risks that could emerge in the current COVID times across these areas: IT, people, their safety, operations, quality, financial, any fraud risk, any marketing risk, supply chain risk. Along all of these areas, we went and spoke to the stakeholders, prepared a detailed checklist. And in the first cut, we did not audit them. We have done a I would call it as control self-assessment. Complete checklist was sent to the business stakeholders. We requested them to evaluate the checklist, and we also requested them, can you come and reply on this, saying, is this risk low, is it high, and how are you mitigating it? So this is the way, a partnering kind of approach we took and went ahead with them, looking at each of the piece. So few of the things that I would want to highlight from a space of cyberspace, what are the elements of risk that we looked at were more from an application security and network thing. So what happened? Many of our people started working from home. So how were they accessing the VPNs? However, they are accessing the office network. How the new joinees or for the people who did not have laptops from their home, what was the methodology that IT team has given them so that they can access data and the data can be confidential. There was a lot of awareness that our information security team created with respect to phishing, because today's world, where are people getting stuck, where are the malware attacks or the ransomware things are happening is when the mails, very similar mails are sent to many of us, and we unknowingly click those links where the people get access to our systems and then they can travel through the systems. I think a lot of awareness was created in that. A lot of awareness got created with respect to password sharing, data privacy, the confidentiality of data. So these were areas with respect to IT systems. Access management was very important. So we went down with a methodology called as virtual desktop interface, wherein the person can only log in even from his personal laptop in that interface and he cannot download any other information. So some of these were the measures that we adopted with respect to networking and access management. More with respect to safety, health and environment, as you all of you are aware, and it has been done in every organization by everyone, even at our homes, where the whole hygiene part measures were implemented. There were zoning concepts that came out. Audit and vigilance was in place, looking at people, that people if they are, because in manufacturing and research and development, people are still working, and we coming from a pharma space, we were into making of medicines, which was very important for our patients and for our stakeholders. So the whole thing continued for us as a business continuity plan. But lot of measures got taken this time, and how as auditors we were supporting them in terms of various risks that were there, and what measures the team could take with respect to even from resource availability. Suppose you are working from home, how is that organization ensuring that work from home guidelines are flexible enough for people, so that people are comfortable working from home. There were even chairs given to people. There were also options available for people to buy tables, chairs. COVID insurance got available for people. So many of, as we spoke about the various risks and controls that were there in the whole approach, what this helps actually the management is it helps them even understanding so I'm not speaking as an auditor, but I'm speaking now as I'm going into shoes of the business person. Once he is looking at this, it's definitely a thought process he is thinking about. What is that I need to work for my team? Let me keep things flexible for my team. What are other controls that I need to look into? So with respect to production quality, there were then more from a finance perspective, because when the corona happened, it was all of our closing time. Inventory reconciliations were pending. So there we arranged auditors to take videos and so that the final inventory could get tallied. That was one of the approach. With respect to the bad debts and receivable, there are continuous monitoring of cash flow positions got taken place. DSO trends came into place. With respect to the risks that were there, various accounting assumptions were validated, were checked in detail. So more, I think what I want to articulate with all these examples is how do we understand by going into other person's shoes, having that empathy, having that clarity, having those open conversations, asking them, call them. I called some of my stakeholders. I asked them, please let me know what support I can do you at this time. This thing always, I think, was very, very important, that am I relevant now? Am I useful? I was helping the organization all these days to look at risk governance, but in my risk-based audit plan now things have changed. Am I flexible and agile? Am I going and speaking to them? How is that I can help my team to make a difference? So these were the kind of conversations that we had across these areas, from invoicing with respect to fraud, with respect to marketing, with respect to compliance. So this is one thing we worked on. Some of the other things are with respect to supply chain management. In supply chain management, both the planning and procurement processes, where we had a very detailed discussion both with planners and with procurement head to understand what support they require, what measure they require. So as 3 months passed, so this was what I am sharing, what we have done during May time. This was in May, June time. And in August, what we started doing, we picked up critical areas from all of the list, what I have shared with all of you. We picked up that list and we started auditing it. Few of the critical areas we went wherever management felt or we felt something, like with respect to the cyber thing it could be, or with respect to areas of procurement, with respect to areas of invoicing, because a lot of time we moved on e-invoicing approach. So with respect to wherever we have the delegation of authority was diluted little bit. So some of these areas now, all of that we are auditing. The second thing, we went to audit committee while we were working on this year audit plan. We went to audit committee and requested them that we will make our plan flexible, document that flexibility also, and as an approval from them. where today our audit plan 70% is fixed and 30% is flexible, and this 30% today is completely based on the risk evaluation. Whatever risk we see in the organization, as we come to know, we get into it and do those kind of audits. So more agility and flexibility in the plan. As we come to know of critical observations, we go and speak with the stakeholders on those observations and gaps. So completely, these are few insights and examples that I wanted to share that we are doing in our organization, which may be relevant for you to implement and apply them. What I also wanted to highlight, one of the things is the other important journey that we have taken is the digital journey. We have moving many of the way we audit to an approach of digital way. So we are building lot of analytical tools across our data and building exceptions around them. We are trying to implement RPA wherever possible, and we are using the process governance control mechanism of S/4HANA SAP wherever possible. So in some simple terms, what I wanted to articulate is we are working on digitization, and the future is all about digitization, and the future is all about continuous control monitoring way of working. So this is the approach that we have taken, and completely I believe in approach of real-time assurance, and that is the future for the auditors. That's the future for all of us. So I will pause here, and I will open it for Nandaji or for discussion, or how do we go about, or I think the questions will be taken at the session after Chetan has articulated.
Yes.
I don't know. I have been fast.
So I think a very valid point on real-time audit assurance. I think that's the key. I think that's where the audit reporting will not be as per schedule. You report on end of the month or end of the quarter or for the audit committee. I think the exception reports, the flash reports, or real-time audit reports will also be a new norm.
Yes, I agree.
I think that was the key takeaway on real-time audit assurance.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Abhijit. So I would hand over to Chetan, and then I think we'll have good time for Q&A. That
Sure.
would be very good.
Is he muted? We can't hear him.
Chetan, you are on mute.
I'm audible?
Yeah, yes.
Hi, so warm welcome to all my participants, and at the outset, thank you so much, Nandaji, the team at ISB, for giving us opportunity to share our thoughts today. So warm welcome once again to all of you. Oh, friends, it's a great initiative by ISB for mentoring the small and medium practitioner, specifically on internal audit. So that's a great initiative. We must appreciate that. Just a moment. Allow me 1 minute. Just there is some setting issues. Is my screen seen?
No.
I think there is some setting issue. Just allow me a couple of seconds. I'll just set it right, please.
Yeah, sure.
All of sudden things were going good, and
Yes, you can see it now.
unfortunately, I'm not able to see that. But then In that case.
Your screen is sharing now, sir.
Aarti, you are sharing. Maybe seems that there is some challenges.
Okay. Okay, sir. I am sharing.
Sure, please. Sure, please. Uh, yeah, friends. Now it's audible and screen is seen, right? Aarti, you will able to. I will able to change it, or you will able to change it. In that case, I will able to change, right? Okay, excellent. So now screen is visible and I am audible, right? Can someone confirm me, Aarti?
Yes, Chetan, you are audible and the screen is visible. Just put that
Okay.
in the PowerPoint mode, slideshow.
Sure, I will do that. I will do that right now. Yeah, sure.
It's done, sir, now.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Only thing it's not moving on the next slide. Yeah, sure. So, friends, our topic for today evening, we'll talk about the change. You all know the time that we are facing off, and the essence of the time is to change. Yeah, we need to be agile. So, we'll talk in terms of skill set, in terms of changing time, in terms of expectation. We'll talk about that. So, first of all, let's understand what is the market available. The total market available globally, it is around 35 billion USD. That's close to 2.6 trillion. And you look at the India market as of now, which is around approximately 10,000 crore. So that's the market available for internal auditors in India. Globally, it is 2.6 trillions. So mainly, if you see broadly the market share of internal audit, it is broadly shared between outsource and in-house internal audit team. 80% it is being taken by the outsource. Those are the firms, maybe big four, large CA firm, mid-size, and small practitioner. And the remaining internal audit is being done 20% by the in-house team. So friends, if you can see the chart, you will get to learn most of the large MNC, you will see that big four has their own presence. Chunk of the practice from the large, mid-size, large MNCs, Indian MNCs is being taken care by large CA firms. So there is still a very little room right now available to mid-size in the small CA firms. The graph is evident that maybe in the range of 15 to 20%, the practice is being available to mid-size firm and small firms. So there is a great room. So we need to now leverage this, and we need to see that how ratio improved. And I will help you with the trigger points, what is to be done by this practitioner, so that we will able to improve this chart better for the mid and small size firms. And if you see currently the service portfolio, the kind of internal audit service happening in India, I think that also need a lot of improvements, because currently we are more focused on financial audit, compliance sort of audit, concurrent audit, operation audit. If you see the chart, the trend, it is more on those side. We are still into traditional set of doing auditing those operational areas, compliance areas and sort of things. And if you see the last three things are service areas, like in consulting role, IT audit, security audit, fraud risk audit reviews. I think that those are the non-traditional areas where we have to gear up first. We'll discuss in my further slide in a greater details, please. So this is how overall the service portfolio being served in India currently. So friends, our discussion today I will be take through in two parts. First, I will talk about the change which is required. We as an internal auditor, maybe I will just help you with some eye-opener surveys. I will take through the new important role apart from our strength as an internal audit, or we as a good internal control. What are the other skill set which is required, corroborated, integrated, so we will able to perform much better way. And what are the skill set we required in a given time? What we used to do 10 years before or maybe 20 years before may not hold good. You have to agile, you have to, because there are a lot of technology disruption, there are a lot of digital transformation happen in the business. Business has become a multi-geographical, multi-product. It is going beyond the geographies. So we have to align ourselves with the skill sets. And the second part we talked about, after you being changed, which is required, what are the stakeholder expectation? our major stakeholders, you all know that broadly I divided into 4 parts. It's a board, ACA members, it's a CEO, CFOs, it's an operation management and IIA. So I will have divided those expectations from each of the stakeholders so that we will meet this expectation to be a successful internal auditors. So this is how we divided entire session into 2 parts. So we talked first about the change, agility. Friends, I will just take through, just first, before we go through what are the skill set, what are the new areas we have to equip with, let's first understand where do we stand. So I thought of just doing a health checkup. So I have taken the summary of the important points from the survey done in a recent past by the Institute of Internal Auditor US and GRMI, that is the Global Risk Management Institute jointly. Let's see what is the current state of health for we as a profession as an internal auditors. Let's look at that first. Let's have a health checkup. Let's look at the mirror. How do we stand and how do we look? And these are the survey taken from the KMPs, the board members of the large, around 500 large corporates all over India. So this is done at the India level, which is relevant and pertinent to India. It's not a global survey. So friends, look at the things. Where do we stand? Just a moment. Yeah. The survey says the first point in the survey, it has said there is a gap between the desired skill sets and the risk perspective for performing IA. So 90% of the stakeholders says there is a gap. The skill set which is required by we as an internal auditor to identify those business risks for performing in IA, there is a major gap. So that comes a major finding. So there is a large gap. We have to bridge that gap, and I will try my level best to give you those trigger points, how we'll be able to bridge this gap. So this is the major finding came in IA report. The second survey has come out. IA started embracing artificial intelligence, machine learning techniques, data mining, analytical tools. As we discussed, I think Sema has also touched upon. So we are into digital disruption. There's a lot of digital transformation. Now companies are not just remain within, it has gone globally. So survey says only 40% of IA started using this technology and new age tools. So I think there is a still room. We have to leverage more. We have to raise from 40 to 60, 60 to 80 over the time. The third finding, IA professionals have awareness of IA standards and are they complying with that? So again, survey says only 40%. Although it is right now recommendatory from IA US, and I think ICAI also came out with the standards which are in the recommendatory nature. But still awareness, I think we have to raise that bar. We have to read that. We have to practice that. Importantly, we have to first aware ourselves. We have to equip ourselves what are the standards and keep updating ourselves. A global standard as well as our institute has also issued a lot of internal audit standards which we need to look into, aware it and comply and practice it. So I think there is again a good amount of gap. Only 40% are being aware of this. And the last important thing which talked about in survey, I required for a better understanding of business nuisance and practical recommendation. So 86% of our stakeholders feel still we have to go a long way to understand business. That's what I have shown in my slide, second slide. We have to get into business nuisances. We cannot just simply work on the only financial compliance and concurrent audit, which are more of the transaction and process based. We have to get into leverage integrated with the business, the way business is going, and we have to give a practical recommendation. So that's what all about IA survey along with the Global Risk Management Institute. I will take through important points which came out recent past survey of EY and Pricewaterhouse. So let's understand from our stakeholders where do we need to improve. So 56% of the participants stakeholders feel I still need an improvement. So I think still we have to make it good. So that is a good scope for improvement here. That's what the first point is all about. Second important point, I helps to achieve business objective. Say importantly, internal auditor has to be aligned with the business. He has to integrate, collaborate with the business. We have to achieve business objective. I think that's the very first most important objective for we as internal auditors. I think the score is 44%. So I think that is again a good a good need to improve on that. We have to align our internal audit technique, process, auditing skill to see that we meet the business objective. So we become relevant. If you want to be relevant, you have to be a part of auditing, which you should attain and address those business objectives. Third one, stakeholders involve IA in a key business decision strategy. Only 37% feel कि IA should be involved in business decision and strategic decision. That means we have to prove our value. If you want to become a trusted advisor for a management and you wish you be a part of those boardroom and the top management meetings, I think we have to raise again a bar. So survey give us a mirror in front of us saying that only 37% feel कि we are useful to in a business decision meetings or a strategy setting with the business. Only 37%. So that is again a good scope for we have to improve as the IA profession. The last one, IA attracts future leader and high potential talent. Only 32% of the stakeholders feel that the IA who have been served in the IA for all these years, who are really good future fit leaders and who have high potential talent. Because IA is a sort of function. We do everything. We get into production, we get into marketing, we are into finance, we are into compliance, we are into budget. So we have all round experience as a business, the way it is looked by the CEO. We are just eyes and ears for the management. And still there is a gap. I think still there is a gap and our stakeholder feels based on the survey by EVA and PwC. I think still we have to work a lot so that we can take a leadership role. Maybe you may become a CFO or you may become a CEO or you may become a chief operating officer. So I think we have to leverage our skills. So that's what ground level reality. Now look at the survey evaluation of IA by EY. If you see, we are very good at doing timely reporting. We are completing our plan. See, completing is not important. Even completing in time is also not important. Which survey, if you see the survey totality, implementation is happening. We are doing process audit, transaction audit. If you see last two line, the supporting key business objective, which we discussed sometime before, and helping management. See, ultimately we need to be helped in cost reduction, cost redundancy, cost savings. I think we need not to become a cost center, right? We need to become a value preservator, value creating. That is what expectation by the management. So we need to try to see that we are in profit center and not the cost center. So I think that is something more to be done. The percentage shows it is 19 and 24%. So there is again a good scope to work upon this. We discuss this. So there is a scope. So apart from that, as I discussed at the start of the session, we as an internal auditor, we are a qualified chartered accountants. We are good at finance, account, taxation. We are very good internal control. We are very good at internal control. We are good at internal auditing, doing financial audit. We are subject expert. Nobody can beat as a chartered accountant, doing a review of finance, accounts, doing transaction audit, taxation. But according to me, if you see even my profile, this is sharing my personal views. I'm almost into last 25 years into audit, risk management, internal audit, compliance, governance. So apart from in chartered accountancy, I have pursued, say for ERM, I have pursued certified risk management. So you have to have, now doing only chartered accountant will not really help. Maybe in my personal view, you have to align with the other skill set. You may do a risk management. There are a lot of issues globally, like CRMA done by the ICAI has sponsored certified risk management. There is a UK issued IRM. ICAI also has a program on the enterprise risk management. You have to align, you have to get embraced with those skill set. So apart from a good internal audit, as a control expert, we have to have three skills importantly. First one is ERM. So that is to look from the assurance purpose, and second you look from a consultancy purpose. So we have to see, I cannot afford to do audits of a bill receivable, inventory tables. I don't have to work on those low hanging fruits areas. Definitely those processes are important, but if I cannot afford to ignore, based on my risk assessment, what are the top risks, what are the severe risks, what are the critical risks, high risks. So I have to take those areas in an assurance role. I have to review those top risks and report to the risk and audit committee. If I am in the consulting role, I can help in designing the risk policy. I can help in designing this top risk presentation. Maybe a set of how the risk register would be, how the system of monitoring, the risk treatment, risk assessment as a consulting role. So apart from we as an internal auditor, we have to embrace risk assessment skill predominantly very important. The second important thing is the fraud risk. You all know that apart from risk, fraud risks are happening. I think Sema has also covered up. Fraud risk assessment skill is predominantly very important. On a professional round, you can do a CFE, which is the Global Institute at US, Certified Fraud Examiner. I think that education will give you the insights. It is a fantastic curriculum. Even I have gone through that. So that's a very good read. And it's a very good practical scenarios have been given. So you may, apart from chartered accountant, would like to do CA for our institute also has a excellent program on fraud accounting and fraud detection. I think that will give you the leverage of skills. So we as an assurance function, we help in designing the fraud policy. We get into the whistleblower. We help the management whistleblower policies, how to review the complaints, tip-offs, or maybe in a consulting role, we assist in a fraud investigation, management way, outsource. So once we leverage on the fraud risk assessment, I'm sure we as a practitioner, maybe small, medium, if we raise our skill into the fraud risk assessment, fraud evaluation, fraud monitoring, investigation, doing as a third party in a consulting role, internally as assurance, designing those systems, doing having a, you may assist even as a hotline, which is coming a tip off inside the organization, outside, maybe vendor, maybe customers, maybe third party, a tip off from our stakeholders would help us. So that is again a good avenue available to us. For that, apart from we as a subject expert as a chartered accountant, we have to become expert in a fraud risk management. We need to learn that and leverage that if you want to be a really relevant and able to contribute what business is looking, what stakeholder is looking. Friends, the third most, say I have categorized into three parts. I spoke risk management skill important. Apart from IA, second important we discussed about fraud, and third is the most. If you take last 3 to 5 year top risks all across the globe or at the India level, the topmost risk, the top 10 risks, if you look, the IT risk is cyber risk, IT risk is sitting on the top 3. So understanding if you are not touching IT, if you don't have that IT skill to review the cybersecurity, ITGC audit, networking audit, I think for that also educationally you can do a CISA. Our institute has a DISA. We can do CISM, we can do CA, SSB. These are all ISACA has those curriculum which will able to leverage and learn those skills with lot of practical scenario in the business. So from academic side, these are the options available. Institute has that program internationally. ISACA has that. So this is the very, very topmost risk currently, and it is more pertinent in the current work from home environment where cybersecurity is again very, very important. Unless you know that what are the cyber risks, you will not able to give those practical suggestions to the businesses. In an assurance role, once you avail that IT skill, then only you will able to this doing audit, ITGC review audit, authentication review, segregation of duties review, ITGC audit reviews, security audit reviews. As a consulting role, you may get into consulting role. You may part of the as a subject matter experts. As a control expert, you may have a part of the ERP implementation. For that, you need to equip with the various important, not only the our traditional ERPs, which are standalone, not integrated like Tally. You have to have learn the skills of SAP, which is the top tool in ERP integration. You have to learn about Oracle, JD Edwards, Barn system. These are 4 to 5 very, very top. So this is from business ERP perspective. There are a lot of CAD tools like IDEA, ACL, many other tools are available to doing auditing. Maybe for doing internal audit perspective, you should have a good data mining analytical skill, continuous monitoring, CCMS tools. So from inside information security risk, cyber risk, being in part of ERP implementation as a subject experts, and using and reviewing the new age tools and technique, which I will discuss in my next slide. I think we need to. This is the combination of internal auditor having a risk-based knowledge and having an IT skill to review the businesses, the top risk. I think there is nothing better than that. So that is the reason over the time I have taken career as a chartered accountant. I have done my certified internal audit. I have done my certified risk manager. I have become certified IS auditor. Then I have become a certified risk manager and I have certified in IS, just to see that I will able to have a better insights. I could able to contribute to my company, to my client. So these three risks go hand in hand, integrated, may not happen immediately. You set your goal, you prioritize what you want to do first, risk, IT skill, but over the time you don't have an option. Sooner the better. You have to get into this very important skill set. Without that, only being a chartered accountant would be a little challenge, maybe my personal view. You have to leverage all these three skills importantly, apart from you being a chartered accountant. And that's a way how business is looking at. As a good internal auditor, as a successful auditor, you have to get into this skill, sooner the better. So friends, this is what I was talking to you in my last slide. See, you need to upskill. So this is a lot of technology. As we said, now businesses have flourished. They have become multi-product, multi-geographical. It's not restricted to India, not restricted to few branches in India. The businesses are happening US, UK, Africa market. So there is a big data. There is a huge chunk of data is happening. So the traditionally way data is being managed through the technology is not true. We have to leverage. We have to embrace the technology. I'm not saying these are very fancy words. Don't get into those fancy words basically. But you necessarily need to know these are the technology, the processes of the business currently using this technology. These are every subject I have written here. Those technologies are itself is in a very big subjects. If I have to talk, one can talk for maybe a one day also. So I will just take up a very broad overview. First of all, we talk about, these are the tools and techniques primarily used in a business. Now let's talk about artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, friends, it's basically the way human being, we use our intellectuals. Same work is being done very efficiently, effectively by AI. What are the examples? So few examples, and primarily there are few industries because it saves on time. I think Abhijit has very detailed way explained. I think these are the tool front where we can become more efficient, business become more efficient, and you need to know the techniques of reviewing this. You cannot afford to disconnect to know this. Maybe over the time, maybe 3 to 6 months. Sooner you need to understand the technology, tools and techniques, what business is using, and you need to review this because you cannot say, I don't know what is MI, I don't know what is RPA, I don't know how it is ML, I don't know what's cloud computing, how it works, what are the risks, I don't know what is data science. We need to know this, sooner the better again. So you cannot afford to ignore, these are the technology used from small to medium and medium to large companies. So everybody is embracing technology, and the biggest threat to all of us is digitalization and transformation is happening across all. So friends, I will quickly take a 1 minute on each of this important thing. Primarily AI, as I told you, it's basically extension of our human intelligence. The work what we used to do it as a human, now being help taken from robots. Mainly it is in computer system, and importantly, like I'll give you example, we use chat box. We use mainly in healthcare. I think pharma industry use it on a higher side. Banking industry it is happening. Automobile industry, AI has been used in a phenomenal way. So that's I think most of even my company, we have AIs of lot of business process. Unless I know that how AI works, what are the risks available, I will not able to review. I will not able to give the risk associated with that, or any control gap with that, or if any accuracy of our data output, then things will get haywire. So I need to understand what is AI is about and which process it is used, how it has been used, what are the challenges, what are the outcomes, what are the risks, what are the control gaps. So we have to necessarily understand this sooner. Secondly, we talked about machine ML techniques. What is basically machine learning? It is as simple as that. I'll give you a good examples. Like today, if I'm just surfing on my Google or social media, say Kapil Sharma. So if I have only seen once or twice Kapil Sharma video, what happened every time I open then Facebook, I will see at least 10 to 12 videos of Kapil Sharma. Or example, that is what machine learning is all about. They will track on your news feeds. They will track on the ads you are looking at. So they will learn out of your taste. They will learn out of what you are looking at. Say if I search for some watches. So what machine learning actually happens? So it will, even on Facebook, wherever I go, I open Google, I will get a lot of ads on the watches only. So that's how ML technique. It's a business technique again. What is the customer taste? So these are the live practical example. Like Siri, the Siri used in iPhone, Alex. So these are Google now. So these are all personal assistant. Now traffic prediction. These are all a good example of ML. So you need to know the functionality of these tools. Then you will be able to assess the risk and control gaps, if any. Third is about robotic process automation. What is robotic process automation? See, don't go by these very fancy words. Try and understand the essence of each tool used in the business. RPA is more of it is to improve process efficiencies and competitiveness, reducing the human errors, increasing the output basically. I will give you a few examples. RPA, so it is used in a business to serve the customer service, customer support group, even the monotonous job of invoice passing, invoice payments, reviewing POs, sales orders. Robotics are being used in payrolls, price comparison, even recruitment, payroll. It is being used. So these are the practical application of RPA. So basically, it helps us to avoid, improve the efficiency, improve the turnaround time. So RPA is being used on all these things where the manual intervention will be less and the work which is being done predominantly by an audit is being done by the RPA machines. Data analytics and data science. As we all know that data analytics, because right now most of us we are doing audit through samples. So my company itself is 14 billion USD company, which is close to 1 trillion. And every day the lakhs and lakhs of transactions happen with, say we have 23 plants sitting at the head office, and what is happening, there are thousands and lakhs of transactions happening at maybe sales, maybe procurement, maybe quality review, maybe packing, maybe production. So unless we use those data analytics and we use the data science for this big data, and now days are getting, cannot afford to do only sample of few hundreds of samples and then we give assurance go back to business. I think that will not really work. We have to equip on a data analytical tool. As I shared with you, there are CAD tools, maybe IDEA, ACL, and there are a lot of good tools available at a very reasonable price in the market, even supplied by a lot of good firms. And friends, now again, it is again a very good career for chartered accountant. They can become just a moment. Yeah, so data science is also a promising career for a young chartered accountant. My only recommendation, young chartered accountants may look at data science technique. So that is a way of future, a very good career, promising career for chartered accountant to become a data scientist along with as a chartered accountant. I will give a few examples like speech recognition, fraud and risk sensing. It helps like your futuristic on shipping routes, our traffic, that we use our traffic, how it has been tackled. So these are the live application. It will help from data science. Cyber security, I think it is discussed. Sema has explained in a greater details. So Sema has taken in a greater detail about cyber security, the challenges. It is predominantly we are working from home, lot of things happening through, lot of things are happening through right now online. So there is malware, so there are challenges, there are security breaches, the frauds are happening more. So as I told you in my previous slide, we have to embrace what are the cybersecurity things as a controls available, tools available, kind of reports are available from a system, from a specialized set of things. So that is cloud computing. That is also one of the very important area. Cloud computing, very simple example I will give. Cloud computing is basically email. Cloud computing, email which you can use anywhere in the world. Even I am in Mumbai, I am in Delhi, I am in US, I can use the email. That is what? That's a good example of cloud computing. Other good example. Basically, cloud computing is your data, your data, your drive, your server, your storage, your software. Everything is sitting on the internet. So cloud computing is as simple as all these things, your data, your storage, your server, everything is sitting on the internet. A good example, a very simple example, Google Drive. Now I can put my any important area in Google Drive, or the bulky area in Google Drive. Wherever, if I am the large data, if I upload here, if I have to see that data maybe after a month or a year, I can always, anywhere in the world, I can open my access to my Google Drive and I can access to my data. So I need to understand the kind of risk involved in how the agreements happen, how are the SLAs, how cloud computing actually works, what are the SLAs, if there are any breaches, what are the things given to them, if breaches happen, what are the risks involved in the cloud computing, what are the control, what are the challenges from cost factor, from control perspective, from risk perspective, from data privacy perspective, data protection perspective. So unless, just what I'm trying to say, these are the tools and techniques right now used by the medium to large companies. So we as an internal auditor, wherever we go to audit, if a company is using say RPA for the invoice payment or invoice bill passing, or if they are using for three-way match, doing for payment process, if I don't review the robotic process automation client has implemented, I will not able to give incomplete assurance to the management. So I have to embrace, I have to understand, I have to learn quickly and understand those modus operandi of working of those technology, understand control gaps, working and risk involved to that. So friends, these are a few important technology driven process which is used in a business, and these are the digital transformation happening at a very fast pace. Or if we want to become a relevant, a successful internal auditor, wherever you are going to client place, don't be shy. Get into this, learn these technologies, quickly adapt, learn and review it. And we are anyway subject experts in control, and we have that eye of getting into those pain areas, gray areas. So I'm sure we'll able to get a great insight and will contribute great to our stakeholder. So friends, so these are important. I will take through. So this is, we talked about what are the skills required, where do we stand. We talked in the first section, we took some surveys, we learned about ICAI surveys, we learned about EY price over surveys, we learned where do we let's say it is always said, right, the things which you cannot monitor, you cannot control. So we measured ourselves, where do we lack on those things. So unless we sensitize ourselves, unless we understand what are the gaps, we accept those things, we measure those gaps, we'll able to control and we'll improvise further. So friends, this is what all we discussed about. And now coming to the second section, stakeholders. So ultimately, whatever work we do, say audit committee happening on quarterly basis, you may have a 20 reports, 30 or 50 reports, you may cover marketing function, you may cover production function, you may cover a finance function, financial reporting, or you have 50 reports. Ultimately, that 15, 20, 30 minutes, the issues what we bring to the table of ACM board, so that ultimately set the success for we as the internal auditors, right? And we don't have only board. See, large company has the board as the stakeholders. Other small and medium-sized company has chairman, MD, CEO. Is a key person. So primarily, the major stakeholder is basically audit committee. The second most important our stakeholder for we as an auditor is CEO and COO or Chief Executive, Chief Finance Officer or CSO function. Third important is our operations staff, that is a procurement head, marketing head, HR head, admin head, quality head, production head. So those are operating person, HODs. And the most important maybe is our internal audit own staff. They are also our stakeholders. We cannot afford to ignore them. So friends, let's look at who are internal auditor. Who are these people? These are the people, those who charge with the governance. Who are audit committee members? They are independent directors. They don't involve themselves day to day. They have a limited interaction in organization. They are legally liable for conduct of an organization because they are the board. Anything goes, tomorrow goes. I'm just explaining who are this, just the benefit of everybody quickly. Who are these people? Who are these stakeholders? They don't have a day-to-day involvement. They are legally responsible, code of conduct, limited independence. They are independent directors. Their personal growth is nothing to do with the success of organization because they are not employees, they are independent. So these are the top people whom we are responsible, and we are what assurance they are looking at us. I'll just take a glass of water. What kind of assurance audit committee is looking at? Primarily, we are eyes and ears of BOD, right? Because board meet on an average 4 times in a year, maybe for few hours. They completely depend on us because we are eyes and ears for them, for BODs. They look at us as a value protection, protector and value preservation. That's how they look at us. They want us before UFR go to them, financial results. It could be reviewed by us before the reporting, whether integrity of reporting is any asset is being overstated, or which is a bad asset, or liability understated, or there is a overstatement of income, understatement income, losses overshouted. So they want before even, apart from statutory auditor, they have their own thorough reporting. That is the expectation even from board from us. We have to assess the integrity of our financial reporting. Other aspect definitely statutory auditor will take care. Now next one is very important, and I am saying this last 2 years, this is like an buzzwords, and I'm sure you must have seen last 2-3 months, even you look last 3 months, there are a lot of frauds happening. Lot of companies, banks are being questioned on related party transaction because those are not happening on arm's length, not happening on ordinary course of business. All the companies I handle here, it's right now JSW, almost close to 13 plants and 7 companies. We are doing related party review. All the board members, all ACM members have given me mandate to review related party every quarter. So even before statutory auditor, they also review it. Ultimately, the responsibility of management, but they want me to report every quarter on related party transaction. So we review whether every transaction happening, may it be purchase, may it be marketing, maybe scrap sale, anything. There is a huge set of transactions happening related party in every quarter. We at JSW, all the companies, almost all the companies, we give comfort to my board, my ACM on related party transaction, because this has become a very predominantly, very equally important, very important subset of financial reporting. So and you have seen that a lot of frauds have happened. There was no transparency, not happen arm's length. They play with the pricing, not disclose. There are many issues. That itself is a subject we can talk for a day, but we have to now give a comfort, and that is the need of the hour and expectation from our stakeholders board. Next, update on top business risk. Friends, I told you, apart from if you wanted to be part of the risk committee, or there are few places, audit committee, risk committee is the same members, or there are separate committees. So, primarily risk committees more talk about strategy risk, But we as an internal auditor, we contribute to the compliance risk, financial risk and operational risk. So there is always the expectation. We don't have to work on the low and medium risk. We have to, there is expectation board. We have to give how many complaints come, tips come, how many genuine. We have to give them a status. What are the genuine fraud happen, or based on the tips we received, the progress happened. What is the pending to be reviewed, and what are the outcomes? A kind of strategy and those things we have to update that on fraud risk. Corporate governance, very important. Lastly, regulatory compliance. I discussed. That's a part of the. We have to. See, my company, we have a software across it has thousands and thousands of compliance. You know, now it is GST, direct tax, company law. There's a huge compliance, and multiple plants, marketing. So quarterly we comply based on the self-declaration and the documentation. Then report comes something complied completely, fully, non-complied or complied with delays. So we prepare a presentable form on those compliances and we submit to the our audit committee who handle compliance committee basically. So these are the expectations, because apart from management, they want independent assurance from us. We review, although it is a responsibility of management, but we review through those software on quarter basis, and we discuss with businesses and we take through the board on the what are the non-compliance and why it has happened, and what are the set of action plan if there are if these are the bare minimum thing. I'm sure each one of your company is expecting maybe something more than that, but may not be less than that. So I think they are our prime stakeholder, and we need to look into introspect each and every assurance area we discuss. They are looking at us. Our second important stakeholders is the CXO people, CEO and CFO. Although we have administrative reporting to them, primarily we all know that as a good governance, we are primarily supposed to report to the audit committee where we have a functional reporting. And we have administrative reporting to CEO and CFO either way. It's all depend on the company to company structure. Friends, who are these people? They are the top people of the organization. They are directly responsible for performance of organization, and their personal growth is directly dependent on the success of organization. That means their pay packages, their commissions, their part of profits, performance pay based on, because they are a part of CXO team. So their growth is personally directly depend on the success of the organization. If the company doesn't work well or there is a losses, they are not going to get a performance base. So that is what it's been all about. They involved in a strategy decision. So they are very top people. A chief manufacturing officer, chief marketing officer, chief operating officer, chief finance officer, CEO. So these are the chief IT officer, chief security officer. So these are those people monitoring role on day to day. So what are their expectations from internal audit friends? First of all, see, as they are more prone to the business, that is where they are primarily responsible. We are third line of defense. So they always expect us to help us. IFC internal financial control or maybe ICAI review. They want maybe at the entity level control. They want us to review the business process, that is B2P, O2C, P2P, S2R, R2R. So those are important business process control. They want us to review basically BPC control. They want us to review ITGC control. They want us to do forensic risk related controls. So primarily these four categories: strategy, entity level control, business process control level, ITGC control level, and fourth one is a fraud risk related control in each of the business process. So we give them assurance. It all depends on understanding with the management, but at least once in a year we give a very detailed report to the board along with the CEO and CFO. Before it goes to board, we discuss with them what are the pain areas, how to tap those things. Second, they expect us to exchange across the company, facilitate knowledge sharing. So whatever the good practice, if I have seen in the one plant, I need to go back to business and say this is enterprise, this is the best practice. Or if there is a challenge in one plant at an enterprise level, we can review them and we give them a knowledge about major risks and the better benchmark practice. Process effectiveness, we have to give them assurance whether if I'm reviewing procurement or quality or repair maintenance or production review, is those processes are effective? Because they are completely banking on us. They have the sources and means to find out. But we formally go and we say, I have gone to XYZ plant, I have reviewed this 10 sub-process, and overall I need to give a review on that plant, review of that processes on that processes. So that is our core bread and butter role. We have to give assurance on effectiveness of the process which is under review. Legal and regulatory compliance, I explained you, it goes a report to audit committee, and on a monthly or quarterly basis, it goes to depend on the company requirement. It goes to CFO and CEO, any compliance, major non-compliance, or any legal issues, or any legal suits come, any major liability come through that. Important code of employee as per policy and procedure. I think these are the very basic thing we internal auditor, for any process we review, we look at SOPs, SODs, fraud and errors we come across, and now first time ever in companies like 2013, even fraud has been defined. So certainly CFO, CEO, CXO people expect us to update whenever do any audit. See, internal auditor don't do with a very pre-mindset to do any audit review or process with the fraud, because these two are totally two different things. It's all depend on the insights. We only give the trigger based on the assessment of that process. Then let management whether to extend those in fraud areas in a greater details, may be done by in-house or can be given to third party. It is again a company to company strategy is being decided. I hope I'm audible, right, Sema? I'm audible? Hello?
Yes, Chetan, you are audible.
Yeah, I thought just for recurring. So friends, the next set of stakeholder is operating management. I told you who are these people? They are the people who execute on day-to-day operation. As I told you, those are procurement head, marketing head, repair maintenance head, quality control head, budgeting head, cost controlling head. So these are operating people who are responsible for efficiency for their own function. And their personal growth is again directly related to the success of organization, because their salaries, their performance pay, variable pay, other benefits are available to them based on the performance by them individually and collectively for the organization. What now they expect from us? What are their expectations, friends? They expect once they do their work day in day out. We are seen on the left hand side. So they expect we go back to their leaders, the reporting leaders, top team, and we say, yes, I have reviewed this plant, I have reviewed this function, and controls are operating, and it is whether it is operating or no, whether there is controls are designed or no, whether those controls are designed, operating, and whether they are effective or no. So we give that comfort as an internal auditor, give that comfort to the management at the first place, and importantly to the board. So they also get an independent view from us. Second, cost saving opportunity. I think that, as I told you, start of the session, we always endeavor us not to become only cost center and become a cost to company. We try with a lot of cost saving, process redundancy, cost reduction techniques, and we come out with the actual saving. We give back to the business. So business will also cherish as cost saving. So apart from whenever we do review those areas, important areas like marketing, procurement, there are few areas which predominantly there are a great scope for a cost saving. Production, which is more important areas. Performance expectations, cross company location benchmarking. I have explained this, right? If I found there are some good practice happening in my Vijayanagar plant, I would like to check that what is happening at my Dolvi plant, or what is happening at my Salboni plant, or maybe what is happening same thing for Jajpur plant. If I find some good benchmark practice, I go back to business, I go back to my operation, I said, oh, this is a very good practice happening at my one plant. Why don't we replicate that? Why don't I reporting? Or if I observe a cost saving, or if I observe any major non-compliance, or if I observe any process redundancy, or if I say there is acceleration of some cost, if I found at some place, say because tomorrow if I go, I report to the board also and go to CFO, I found there is a cost saving area, there is a good room for cost saving, or there is a greater issue of quality. Say packing bag is a greater issue, or there is a bad stock, bad cement stock sitting in my Vijayanagar location in Karnataka. Because say now it is not like although you went to Vijayanagar and you've seen those, I'm just giving a quick example. There is a bad stock of cement because see lumps become after 3 months in cement. And if I found the major stock examples are sitting in one plant, and if I go back to CA4, I go back, sir, we found maybe a 3 to 5 crore rupees of the stock, which is a bad stock of cement, then what to we as an internal auditor? They will, okay, good, you find out. Now tell me, what is the position if you found out in the 10 depots sitting in the Karnataka, we have total 120 depots. What is the scene in Maharashtra? What is happened in Karnataka? What has happened in Orissa? So they may ask you, because they want comfort and enterprise level. Days have gone, you go with the only, with some small issue or low hanging issue and go and present them and they will be happy. No, you have to have complete answer. See, I have 8 plants in cement. So whatever issue, if even that is not coming in my cycle, if the issue come up for audit committee presentation, which is very important, I feel that's a high and severe issue. Even that happened in my one plant, say Vijayanagar. The same issue, even it is not under my quarter, say quarter 3, still, plant, what is happening on that particular important issue? So I will go back to board and I can say that I will go to CFO, CEO, boss, this is the pain area, this is the gray area, and this is the cost impact, this is the saving effect, and we have reviewed all 7-8 plants, and this is the status. Three plants need improvement. There is a scope collectively, and three plants is happening absolutely nicely. So that's what we call. We have to give up what it is called a risk portfolio and enterprise level of your reporting. May it be a risk, may it be internal control, or maybe an audit issue. So this is very, very pertinent, friends. You have to have given. You cannot give any issues may happening at one plant, one branch, one depot, one location. But when it goes to board, it goes to CFO, you have to collectively give the status as an enterprise level on those controls, on the compliances, on the cost savings or any major challenges. So this is all about, so we help control designing, execution, we review SODs, we participate, help to review the SOPs to the operation management. Like this work from home, we supported the business to review those policy, help in designing those policy, helping mitigating risk for non-compliance. I already discussed. We help them with the how other things. So if I am reviewing, say example, I am handling say cement, and I look at, I not only look at as I given you sometime before example, this is within a company. So we have to even benchmark within what is happening outside same industry. See what is happening at ACC, what is happening at Ambuja, what is happening at Dalmia, what is happening at ACC Ambuja Ultratech. So we give them a complete business. That's our basically responsibility. So first we talked about the location, look at the enterprise level, and we have to go outside the company also and benchmark with the large size related industries. Feedback and system and process. I think these are our bread and butter. I need not to discuss more on this. Next. So friends, finally the most important, our own people, we cannot afford to ignore them. They are our 4th stakeholders after audit committee, TO, CFO, operational staff we discuss. So these are audit staff. They also expect a lot. Who are these people? They are our own people, our own members who plan, who help us in planning, reporting, fieldwork, monitoring internal audit activity along with us. What is their expectation? I want to expose to, see somebody is doing in my team cement. I give them a cross exposure to say energy. I may give exposure to mining, to the steel. So there has to be rotation between the team. So over the years, they may not continue to do audit for same business, same processes. They get a flavor to understand the different business. They expect experience, knowledge. Gaining newer skill set is my responsibility as a leader. Right? As a leadership role, as head internal auditor, that is our we as a senior, our role is to help them to set the new skill set. We have to encourage them doing CISA. Somebody is keen, somebody we want to put on the forensic assignment. We have to encourage them to do CISA, DISAs. Somebody want to have learn greater skills on fraud. We can sponsor them for CAP. We can encourage them to go through those curriculum, seminars, conference, area of interest and which align with our business. So we have to help them. We have to send those training for newer technology. If a company has come out with any RPA at particular location or particular business or plant, we have to leverage learnings for our own people so that they will be able to contribute better. Training development, it's continued CP, we have to train them. And finally, as they perform, ultimately everything comes with the financial rewards. Finally, because we have to keep motivating them. But these are non-tangible area, which is if you teach them on the skill set, you give them a platform for a new technology review, a different set of verticals, you will give them a platform. You send them for training. You allow them to curriculum. I think financial rewards, yes, important, but I'm sure the other things, I think they will be able to appreciate more as a team. That's what my experience says on this. So friends, let's summarize for the benefit of my all friends who are hearing us. I have just written top 5 to 6 important take-home message based on my discussion last 30-35 minutes. The future of ICAI looks both promising and challenging. So as me, I am pursuing internal auditor. I am a passionate internal auditor last 25 years. And I started my career as an internal auditor and I wish I end my career as an internal auditor because that's very passionate in me. It's very promising. It's challenging too because we have to be relevant. The only important thing we discuss in a greater details, you have to be relevant, you have to upskill yourself, you have to embrace technology, you have to be part of transformation, then only you will be able to become relevant and you will be able to enjoy. See, unlike accounts or tax, because those are like you keep doing, your platform is very large. You will be overseeing marketing, production, finance, budgeting, taxation, finance, everything you do. It is a way like CEO look at the business, you are eyes and ears for them. You help. So it is very enchanting, very promising career and challenging too, unless you gear up yourself with the new skill and you become. So you need to be relevant all the time if you want to be a good successful internal auditor. Friends, we discuss now global market is changing rapidly. We have faced last 8 to 9 months. You know what is the situation. Companies have a presence in market. There are challenges. I have to fit first. So I cannot do something what I'm doing all this. I have to gear up. I have to be agile. It is now time has come. It is not I have to ask the business what to check. Should I check or should I help? So that is important. So we have to change our mindset now. Should I check or should I help? So now we have to go back and say, how can I help you? Rather than saying, what should I check? So now scenario has changed. You have to become a true business partner. Not for this pandemic, maybe way forward. Next is upskill yourself with the newer technology and tool used in a business. We discuss, you need not to know everything at a one time. Set your own targets. Set your own perspective. Where all your company is using, where all you are going to your clients, what are the technology use, keep enough time to review those technology and embrace those technology, learn, understand challenges, operating and process control gaps, risk involved and challenges if any. Embrace technology and be inquisitive to the best usage in IA. So you don't have a choice now, you have to embrace. You have to be part of that and you have to integrate yourself with that, collaborate with yourself with that. This kind of technology used in the business. If you do business, you would bring rest of the objection to your and into the board. Business audit, value is a transaction audit, financial audit. Discuss that. We have to align ourselves oriented audit. Customer vendor of last years, a lot of insights, a lot of surprises when in spite of doing just sitting audit at the location or doing auditing through SAP system. When I go to the market, I meet dealer, I go to vendor, I meet my supplier, I meet my major customer, I meet my service provider. It has given me, I mind you friends, I am repeating, it has given me a great insights, which even if I sit 2 months audit sitting at my plant or sitting at my location, and if I spend 3 to 4 days, go to market, I really get a great market insight, a great intelligence, because what paper comes to you, what discussion or what is systems give you are not really enough. If you want to be as a good take-home message, I will say, importantly, procurement audit, marketing audit, depot reviews. There are many areas, quality reviews. We have done a lot of audits. I make a point, whatever audits, even at this, I go to when my team do audit, I go with my team personally. Sometimes I go as a representative of company, or sometimes I go as a stranger. Even these people may not be knowing me who I am, but we gather those market insights. So I think this is one of the most important success factor, I will say. To get the right insights, you please pay visit to your customer, vendors. Go outside to your office, go outside to your plant. I'm sure you will get miracle of issues which you have never found. Just make a try this. This is my humble submission to my all young, energetic, and my entire IF fraternity profession. The last important surprise element in audit process to uncover. Sometimes for example, we give a audit plan. This is my quarter plan. This is my annual plan. I'm coming in audit doing in quarter 3. So the gentleman will be very ready. Quarter 3, he will set everything right for first 6 months. So what you should do, you tell him I'm coming in quarter 3, you go in quarter 1. Or somebody you told in quarter 1, you go in quarter 3. You will find a lot of surprises. My experience shows that having small surprises will uncover a lot of thoughts, lot of things, gray areas, you will get it. So friends, this is the last slide from me. I have summarized some of the suggested best practice for IR professionals. First one, increasing focus on agile auditing and issue flash reports. Now days are gone where business wants you a 50-60 page report. Wherever you find, say because any audit cycle which goes 15 days to 1 month or maybe 1.5 months. If I am doing procurement audit, a size of my company, the procurement is a very big ticket item. It may take 2 months to complete me to procurement audit. So I cannot sit for too long. So I have to keep whatever important critical gray issues if I come across, I have to spend a flash report. I have to sound to my reporting. I have to sound to the top management team with a flash reports. So you have to be agile. You cannot afford something you find very sensitive. You find some fraud. You find a major risk. You find major cost area. You find major non-compliance. Then you don't have to necessarily wait for 2 months to issue report and then you tell your operation team or top team. You come out immediately. You be agile and please issue a flash report. You may issue a detailed report. Nothing doing, that's all fine, but please come to the report. That's one of the best practice. Second, team. During cost account internal audit. It might even you we have technology people, we have cyber team, we have engineers at our client part of it. So I think that's of it, not the financial. I think slide has gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will just.
Chetan, we were also losing you in between. I think your network is better now. It should.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, should I share it quickly? If happens, fine. Otherwise, I'll just.
Yes, please, Mr. Chetan, please share it. We have plenty of time. Please share it.
Yeah. It's a matter of 2 minutes now, but it is the most important slide. It is a major takeaway from my experience of 25 years to my fellow fraternity in IF fraternity. See, we were talking about the the mix of the IA team. So we have now, we need not to have only chartered accountants. We should have a CFEs, we should have CISA, we should have engineers, we have security, IT experts in the team. And we need even something, we have a limitation, right? So we have to hire subject matter experts. Say example, I have to do PV of the coal or gypsum. I'm not a subject expert. I will able to do PV of say office equipments, computer, machinery. But I am not expert to count what is the coal, what is the moisture available, whether it is short, more, the quality parameter, the content, technical parameters. Also, I will not able to say whether it is has a higher moisture, it has loses value, whether usable, not usable, the quantity quantification. So for that, we have to have a subject matter experts. There is another good concept we call guest auditors. So guest auditor as subject expert, like somebody in one plant, Vijayanagar, I have got a very good engineer, I may send it to Dolvi. Somebody very good at repair maintenance, I may send it to Jajpur, maybe Salboni. So there is a concept of good auditor, guest auditor basically. Now talked about a non-conventional area, the new areas on the annual plan we discussed. New areas coming up in now, I've seen last 6 to 1 year. We have to now necessarily embrace along with the new area like audit of culture. That's a new area. Very few people have touched upon that. I'm sure that this area has been still untouched by many of us, and very few organizations have done this audit for the corporate, or maybe third party has done it for some corporates, a culture audit. Social media audit. I think we have to embrace that a new area. Cybersecurity audit. Related party audit, which I shared with you, we do every quarter for all my companies. That's a mandate from my board and my top team. One more important thing, you need to know how successful you being internal auditor, you take a survey of your client satisfaction survey. Maybe at the project level, maybe at the quarterly or maybe yearly. That's your understanding between you and your business. So that's one of the, again, a good practice to have a client satisfaction index. Last one, annual IA report scorecard. This is the, I will say this is a real PMS, a performance measurement criteria for we as an internal auditor to prepare a scorecard, and a very concise, a one-pager scorecard should go to our top team, CEO, CFO, or very good companies I have seen, they're able to even ACA. So during the year, like we have done 800 audits, we have given cover, we have covered say 46 plants, we have covered 46 plants, we have covered 23 audits, a few crores of savings we have done, or these are the major fraud. I'm just giving the example. What are the things you can add it to scorecards during the year with the small size team? I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yes, please carry on. Fully audible, Mr. Chetan, fully audible.
Yeah, sure. So, just a moment, yeah. So basically, you should see ultimately we and our team round the clock. You also, even if you are doing an outsourcing assignment, you should have an opportunity once in a year at least. Go to the board, prepare a report scorecard. You tell them, sir, this many audits with such a small team, or these are the important process lapses, or these are the major non-compliance we highlighted and we mitigated. These are the top lists we highlighted. These are the major fraud happened and how it is mitigated. These are the major cost saving happened at XYZ location. These are the assurance we have given to so many plants. They handle with so much time. We help in implementation ERP. We help in embracing technology. We become a reviewer, subject expert. We introduce those sort of, like, you can give n number of important top 8 to 10 deliverables which you delivered, which is our scorecard. I think if you adopt this practice, you will be surely be part of a good strategy meeting. They will surely love to invite you if you write as a communication, presenting, and I'm sure this will give you a greater satisfaction to the top team and board. Boss, we are really a business partner. If you really want to be business partner, you not only you should be a very good player, or you should be a real good presenting also. The way every year at least this report should go once in a year. This is what I learned all these years. Second important thing, see, most of us has faced us. Audit committee happens 15 to 20 minutes, maybe half an hour if it is a good company, it is a good deliberation. So we have to, because in the room you will find there is a CEO, there is a CFO, there are chief accountants, CFOs there, chief marketing, chief manufacturing. So most of time, sometime issues we cannot able to discuss in the greater details, even that is a sanctity. So as a good practice, as a benchmark practice, so we used to go to say those independent directors, chairman's office, we deliberate with them certain issues, we need their support. So we have to encourage these private meetings. And last, most important, concerned business has to attend ACM by invitation. Sometimes issues are very severe, say maybe a quality issue or some production or major non-compliance or legal issue. Rather than you give your, as an internal auditor, we go and say on behalf of business. So I think over the last 2 to 4 years, we realize later we call that business heads, or if there are say, some security issue, cyber issue, we invite the chief security or chief cyber security officer to the boardroom, and they explain their action plan, what we observed and how they mitigated, and the way forward is being explained to them. So friends, I think these are the few best practice and few takeaway message I thought I necessary, and it's my duty to share with my fellow IA friends to know that and contribute to my fraternity. So thank you from my side, and thank you. I'm happy to take any question when it is open for question answer. Thank you so much, all of you, for patient hearing. I know I am coming between you and now dinner. So over to you, Nandaji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chetan, for a very wonderful session. I should say that you brought out all issues that are basically hindering the SMPs. So you all three are aware that the basic purpose of this seminar is to empower SMPs, small and medium practitioners, so that they are able to cater to high-ticket clients. So my first question to all three of you in the order in which you spoke. 2 issues, 2 questions you can simultaneously answer. Number 1, what is the professional development angle where you feel that young chartered accountants or the small medium practitioners could pitch in and get some work? And second, what are the skill sets you advise they should have so as they are able to cater to big ticket clients? So over to Mr. Abhijit.
So first is, I think as you are at a very young professional level, the technical competency would matter more. Now you can't be a master of all. So you will have to look into your strengths, find out which area you are really good at, where you can really offer as what I call is painkiller solution. It's not general solutions which everybody else. So you should find your niche and then focus on that area with, as I say, your dedication, determination, passion, and work on that. As you grow higher, you build up a team, your people management skills, the emotional skills, and a lot of adversity skills, the social media skills will come into factor. But for young professionals, they'll have to have a niche area on to focus on, and they need to have, as I say, 3 things as essential at all stages of professional life. Find a good coach, a good mentor, a mastermind, and an accountability partner. I think that's non-negotiable.
I take on the... Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. So the way I would request the young professionals is look specifically in areas of artificial intelligence. There are a lot of courses that are available on Coursera and also on Udemy, and these courses are reasonably not very expensive. They are offered by the best professionals. They are courses on digital, building the digital capabilities. So this you can build it with respect to artificial intelligence, with respect to robotic process management, with respect to the information security and governance space, data privacy, and many of these. That's one thing. The building of skill set that Chetan, I think, might have repeated a number of times in his session. I think that is the first basic step for the young professionals to proceed. Once you have this technical capability, with the kind of environment we all are progressing forward, there's also a concept of freelancing and gig workers coming into play. So what is this all about is you can go and do a particular work only for that assignment and come out of it. And now many organizations do not want full-time people. So the trend is towards this. Big consultings, big organizations are looking for specialized skills who can come, execute that and move out of the project. So there's a lot of scope for them to build. And once you get to these kind of nuances you build on, your market is so high. Your value in the market is very high. So this is what I see and I would suggest and recommend to the young professionals. Thank you.
Yes, I completely agree what Abhijit ji and Sema has said. I concur their views. See, so importantly, we being a young practitioner, maybe we start as a small or medium practitioner. So importantly, you have to, apart from a chartered accountant, I am at a very strong view. You only chartered accountancy will not really do. You have to leverage. You may have to become an expertise. You cannot be a general expert now. Either you have to be, apart from chartered accountant, you have a good technical skill set from IT friend, or you would like to advise on the risk advisory, or you would like to become advisory on IT security. So you have to leverage along with the CA. You decide where you want to start with, because you cannot have everything all to put together in initial couple of years. You have to set your own views. You have to reconsider your own lacking, where you want to practicing upon. So initially you may not get all these things also. See, unless you have a skill set to review cybersecurity risk or to review the top risk of the business, because you should know the very fundamental and strong understanding on that particular industry sector, the top risk, how others are facing that industry. So that's what I feel. Initially you may start with having those skill set once in order. I think then you can pitch on the good practice. You can demonstrate and go out the market. Ki boss, we have a skill set in risk management. We have a skill set in cybersecurity, or maybe data scientist. Because of the big data, globalization is again a very promising area. I feel one may look into this as a future practicing area. I am telling you, it is going to make a miracle in time to come. Data scientist, my view, personal view, please. Over to Nandaji, please.
So, Nandaji, I'll just like to add. See, I think at the very basic, every professional should trust the process. And the biggest tip for a small or a aspiring chartered accountant is be faithful with the small, and the big will follow later on. I think you just need to be focused. And there are certain skills which again I feel are non-negotiable. One is your communication skill, your persuasion and negotiation skill. And third is your marketing skill, coupled with maybe your personal branding and developing your executive presence. I think for every professional, I think the GMCS which the institute has started, correct, I think is a step in the right direction, but needs to be really done with very sincerity.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Really a wide insight to the upcoming chartered accountants, to firms who intend to practice at a larger perspective. My second question is that we always speak about capacity building by CA firms. So my second question to all three speakers is in the order in which they spoke, that what capacity measures you feel would enable a CA firm to work in that tandem, and a special focus on technology, which is a great enabler. So I request you to please focus and speak on that. Over to Mr. Abhijit. And I welcome Prasanna Kumar, the Vice Chairman of this committee, a man about working hard. He has just retired from the meeting which went through day long and is now joined the meeting. Welcome, Prasanna Kumar, brother.
Oh, thank you, brother.
So I request Mr. Abhijit to please start.
So one is which I've constantly harped upon many times is the collaboration skill with connections to co-create. So reach out to fellow members, and I believe each member would be willing to help others. I think collaboration is the key skill which is needed for young practitioners. And as I always feel, one needs a strong mentor. So the younger professionals could look at slightly senior professionals to mentor them. Parallelly, senior professionals could have a reverse mentoring, because a lot of technology skills or social media skills will be where young chartered accountants would be more proficient than the senior ones. So having a mentor, a mastermind, and like-minded accountability partners would be the key to fast track your success. And I think one should have a very spiritual bent of mind also.
Thank you, Abhijit. To the complete community here, the way for the specifically the SMP sector for their enhancement in this scenario, in this current environment, the way I look at it is collaborate is the story. What I learn. Let me draw an analogy. You see so much happening in digital spaces, the apps coming on, where actually people are not owning the store. Suppose a story of Amazon. They are not owning the stores, but there is a collaboration platform they have created. So maybe a collaboration platform across few SMPs, where the one skill is available with some of them, the other skills are available with some of them. They can co-create and offer to the consumers. I think thinking out of box, thinking innovatively, learning from industry, learning from the people like who are driving the new digital ecosystems, the digital startups. I think there's a lot to learn from the way they are doing things differently. So some of these will definitely make the SMP sector go in a very enhanced way. And the ask today from big corporates or from others is, can I get that specialized skill? We are not looking that one needs to have always a branding. If the person has definitely a good skill and is able to offer and deliver agility and flexibility, then there is always a big demand. I will now hand over to Chetan for his inputs. Thank you.
I'm completely concurred with your Sema, your and Abhijitji view. See, because collaboration and networking, that's the future, and we don't have a choice. Okay. It has to be, if you want to grow, I think these are need of the hour. I will just share quick one example. I have given some outsourcing assignment to one CA firm, and I have if I have to carry out some my depot, say in Calcutta or say Delhi, and if that firm right now don't have those branch location there, so they have to collaborate with those firm in Delhi and Kolkata as a networking collaborate. So it will be serviced locally by those. So I will able to get even that's how it works practically. And you can actually, he has some assignments in Mumbai. So this local firm can help each other. So I feel we don't have a choice. I think this is the way forward, a future for, if you want to grow, you have to collaborate, you have to network. And that's a way of life for we small and medium practitioners. That's from my side, please. Yeah. Any other question, please, sir?
Thank you so much, Chetan bhai. In fact, I'm driving, and that is putting a lot of.
Oh my God!
No issues. And let me very, very candidly put it across. If you rightly said, and Madam rightly said about collaborating, yes, we at the institute level are now coming out with networking guidelines, so that we are able to give a platform to CA firms where they could collaborate and give services to chartered accountants, and, for example, on areas in writing opinions in GST, because GST is now totally based on technology. And above that, clients. For example, when you said about physical verification work, so physical verification, one client has to get it done at different locations. So it is humanly impossible and very costly if one firm tries to do it across the country, because there are traveling expenses, staying expenses, and hence collaboration, getting in network would have an added benefit to them. Even Madam Grover, her company does so many physical verifications, so many verifications at various locations. So it is not possible for one firm to conduct that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking to the audience as well. It had been a very wonderful and great session, and you know that all good things in life have to come to an end. Our interaction also has to come to an end. But not before my friend Prasanna Kumar gives his concluding remarks and vote of thanks. Let me tell you something about Prasanna Kumar. Brother Prasanna Kumar belongs to Visakhapatnam, a professional par excellence, a person who is ready to spend sleepless nights to ensure that the profession benefits. He's a part of the examination committee, part of disciplinary, and I have seen him work 20 hours at least a day to ensure that students and members of Mofussil towns are not at a disadvantage. So over to Brother Prasanna Kumar for his concluding remarks.
Yeah, thank you. CA Chalendra Singh Nanda, the chairman of Internal Auditor Standards Board, and great speakers of the day, CA Abhijit, CA Sema, CA Chetan, and my dearest participants in the program. Good evening to all of you. So, it has actually, I was there in the program for some time. As all of you know, the examinations are there. I could not follow all of you in the session, but my partners have seen. So they were telling me it was a great session. So he's sitting in the next room. So it's a great evening for all of us. You have given a lot of value addition in the subject that has been assigned to you. I know, Abhijit, I heard him quite long in this meeting also. The way in which he dealt with the measuring and improving internal audit efficiency was very efficiently has managed, and it has been a great value addition. Thank you very much, Abhijit, for the excellent presentation that you made, and sharing your thoughts with us. I know personally, Sema is personally known to me. I met her a couple of times in her office also. I think she remembers me.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I still have your mobile number also with me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
She's a very dynamic person. Even in the office also, when you meet her, you can see she is one person I have seen who can carry on with people. See, solo you can never do. You should be a team player. Individually you can never do it. Sema is a team player, and she has very nicely lucidly presented risk-based audit during COVID time. The COVID time is not limited to COVID time alone. COVID time is going to be that day, years ahead. You are going to have COVID may not be there. COVID time, the scenario will continue. Now people got used to remote location audit and everything to be in a virtual mode. We are doing everything. I think she expressed very well. It's going to be useful, permanent in our life. Thank you, Sema. And CA Chetan, he has changed the changing role of internal audit and stakeholders' expectations. Day by day, the expectations of stakeholders are increasing. So, earlier, it was the chartered accountant who used to determine what should be the outcome, what is the scope and what is the outcome, both. Those are the days. But today, stakeholders have become very active. The expectations are growing day in and day after. So, I'm sure that your presentation today will go a long way for the members to do a better job, keeping in view of the expectations of the stakeholders while you conduct the internal audit. So thanks all of you. So members, as you know, the mentoring SMPs, small and medium practitioners, is the buzzword of our Internal Audit Standards Board. We have done so many programs we have conducted so far. I'm sure we are going to conduct the same pace in future also under the dynamic leadership of Chalendra Singh Nanda, whose heart and my heart are very close to SMPs. So that's why we keep conducting many programs of this kind. While we have speakers, stalwart speakers like Abhijit, Sema, and Chetan, we are sure this process, our endeavor to continue with the continuing professional education will certainly yield results in future. Thank you very much. Thanks all of you. Thanks a lot for encouraging.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Prasanna. Let me tell you one thing about Mr. Prasanna. He speaks Hindi very well and he's in the process of learning Hindi. So one thing I want to tell you, for SMPs, it is the instinct that matters. I'll give you an example of, we have 3-4 minutes. So I'll end by giving an example of Shahid Bhagat Singh. Shahid Bhagat Singh was hanged in the prison. The international treaty of prison says that a person can only be hanged when the sun is going up. When Shahid Bhagat Singh was hanged, the sun was not going up, it was not stagnant, it had already set. In the evening, the slaughter came to him and gave him the information case, Bhagat ji, ab aapke फांसी लगने का समय आ गया है. Now listen what he did. It's in Urdu. He took a piece of coal. He was not allowed to write letters because that could turn into revolutions. So he, on the wall he wrote, कुछ इस कदर मेरी फितरत से वाकिफ है मेरी कलम, इश्क लिखना भी चाहूं तो इनकलाब लिखा जाता है, इश्क लिखना भी चाहूं तो इनकलाब लिखा जाता है. The English version, Brother Prasanna says that my pen knows my instinct. Even if I want to write love, it writes revolution. It writes my love for the country. So if SMPs have this instinct to perform, because I've seen all book firms, they have all grown from very normal size, from very normal capacities, they have come to this great level. So ladies and gentlemen, I would not speak much here. I would just end with saying that we, chartered accountants, can do anything which we intend to do. But we need to have proper skill sets. We need to know, we need to have some people who could guide us, how we could go ahead and grasp what we intend to have. So goodbye for now. Thanks, Prasanna, brother, for your very well-timed vote of thanks. Shri Abhijit, Madam Sema, Shri Chetan, and all the participants who are sitting here in large numbers.
Absolutely.
That they go home more enlightened. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen, for now.
Thank you.
We'll come back with another webinar on 28. We'll share the details with you very soon. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Best wishes to all participants. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you
nice.
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.